Chapter 6282. This matter was very important. The mysterious woman had planned for a long time, but she was still not confident. Originally, she had trained Yuxian to make this matter more assured. But Yuxian that idiot, had ruined everything. Without Yuxian support, this matter would not be easy to handle. However, she was still prepared. First, she chose 3 supreme great emperors to be on standby and go to the 8th heaven to do things for her. Then, she condensed and formed a purple vortex again, breaking the heaven and earth. Obviously, she was transmitting her voice to the people of the other heavens. This time, it was not Yuxian of the 7th heaven, but the 6th heaven. The 6th heaven was where Purple Immortal was. He guarded the heaven and earth. At this moment, he was yawning in boredom. He could sense that there were other intruders who had entered the 6th heaven, and they were very powerful. However, he was not interested. He had no longevity fruits in his hands. He was too lazy to care about these people. He wondered how the first batch of intruders were doing. After being plotted against by him, would they die? He thought of Lin Xian and the others. Even if they did not die, they would probably end up in a miserable state. At this moment, a purple vortex suddenly appeared in front of him. Immortal Finger was stunned. Then, his expression became serious. "Sister, why are you looking for me?" He was very surprised. His sister was from the 9th heaven. Crossing several heavens to find him, she should have paid a high price. Unless it was an extremely important matter, it would never happen. If others knew, they would be even more shocked. Purple Immortal was actually this mysterious woman's brother. It was unbelievable. The voice of the woman in purple came from the vortex. She said, "Brother, are you ready? That matter was about to begin very soon. My plan in the 7th heaven has failed. So, I can only rely on you." "Failed? How could it be?" Purple Immortal exclaimed. He knew his sister's methods. Moreover, he also knew about the 7th heaven. Killing the original Zhou Tianshi and supporting a new Earth Immortal was something they had been planning for a long time. Could it be that Zhou Tianshi was not dead? The purple-clothed woman's voice sounded. "Zhou Tianshi is indeed not dead. But this is not fatal. The fatal thing was that Yuxian was actually defeated by an intruder. A young great emperor actually defeated an Earth Immortal. I'm so angry." "Intruder? Young great emperor?" Purple Immortal was stunned. In the next moment, a person appeared in his mind, Lin Xian. For some unknown reason, he thought of Lin Xian. He said, "Sister, that young great emperor, could it be that he has the immortal flame? It seems like you also know about it." The mysterious woman snorted. "Why didn't you tell me about this? If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have let Yuxian fail." Purple Immortal also frowned. He said, "I did meet an intruder before. He had the immortal flame. He even threatened me. However, that flame couldn't kill me. Furthermore, he didn't dare to use it carelessly. After using it, he wouldn't be able to defend himself against any danger in the future. Therefore, in my opinion, he should only be intimidating the land immortals. However, I did not expect this kid to use this kind of flame at the 7th heaven. It's too late to say anything now. Yuxian has already failed. She won't be able to recover for tens of thousands of years. What happens next will happen within 3 months. Therefore, we don't have time. As for that kid, I've already sent a secret guard to kill him. What we're discussing now is the 8th heaven. Will the dream god go? Not necessarily. Therefore, he's not much of a threat to us. The other few heavens are the 3 demonic beast brothers. They're the biggest threat. We have to find a way to resolve them. It's not easy. However, I'll try." The two didn't talk for long before the purple vortex disappeared, because this was a conversation that crossed several heavens. If it was other Earth Immortals, they might not be able to do it. After the vortex disappeared, Purple Immortal took a deep breath. His expression was solemn. This kid really deserves to die. He actually ruined his sister's plan. However, he should be dead for sure. The secret guard should be able to kill him. Even if they can't kill him, that kid should go to the 8th heaven. At that time, I'll personally kill him. That's right. Purple Immortal knew that Lin Xian would also go to the 8th heaven. And this time, their goal was also the 8th heaven. Lin Xian didn't know about these Earth Immortals. At this moment, he was still silently cultivating. He had already begun to prepare to temper his left hand. However, the progress was very slow. After all, the last time he tempered his right hand, he succeeded very quickly. This was because he had triggered the power of time in the Great Sky Divination formation. The probability of triggering this power was very small. So far, he hadn't succeeded. An Heavenly Cycle Master had already made 4 formations for him. He was making the 5th one. After another half a month, the 5th formation was completed. Heavenly Cycle Master didn't take any action. He gave the 5 formations to Lin Xian. Next, you'll encounter a lot of danger. Use these 5 formations sparingly. I originally wanted to make a few more, but there's no more time. These 5 formations didn't have any offensive formations. They were all used for defense and escape. After Lin Xian received them, he looked at them. Indeed, there were 2 defensive formations and 3 escape formations. However, it really suited him. After all, he didn't have much 3 true fire left. There were still 2 levels left. What other dangers were there? Thank you, Senior. Lin Xian carefully put away the formation. Chapter 62-83. Hearing that the Red Fish Emperor was not in danger, Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. Next, he learned more about this array formation. If he wanted to enter the 8th heaven, he would also use this array formation. The Heavenly Cycle Master could not help him with this array formation because he could only enter the 8th heaven with his own strength. Next, Lin Xian prepared to leave. However, he also made some arrangements for this battlefield. He planned to shift the blame of this battle to the giant elephant. Previously, the giant elephant had murderous intent towards him, which made Lin Xian very unhappy. And now, he had an extreme weapon, which was the giant elephant's. He made some arrangements so that this extreme weapon would be broken in the ruins of the Array faction. Even if the other party did not believe it, they should have some suspicions. Lin Xian began to set up traps again. In fact, he also wanted to shift the blame to Purple Fairy. After all, she had tricked him once during the teleportation process. However, he did not have Purple Fairy's weapon, so he could only give up this time. Just as Lin Xian was setting up the traps, a crack flashed in the 7th heaven. Then, a few figures appeared in the 7th heaven. As soon as they appeared, there was a terrifying force that wanted to swallow them up. However, soon after, a purple vortex appeared beside them and blocked all of this. Great, we have successfully arrived at the 7th heaven. The leader waved his hand, and the figures quickly left. There were a total of 5 people. These 5 people were wearing black armor. They were secret guards. They were sent by the mysterious woman in purple in the 9th heaven. They only had one goal, and that was to kill Lin Xian. Lin Xian did not know about the appearance of these people, but the Heavenly Cycle Master was aware. He could clearly sense the changes in the 7th heaven. He said, "Someone is coming, and they have a strong murderous intent. It should be the expert behind Yu Xian, who had made his move." As soon as this was said, Lin Xian also took a deep breath. Will the land immortals come? He did not have much Samadhi true fire left. Was there going to be another great battle? The Heavenly Cycle Master said, "No, there is no land immortal power. Moreover, land immortals could not casually cross heaven and earth. Even if they really wanted to come, they would have to pay a price." Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that it was not an earth immortal. In this way, he was not that afraid. He began to conserve his energy and adjust his condition to its peak. At the same time, he took out the immortal slaying sword and held it in his hand, ready to fight at any time. The dark guards in the void flew quickly in search of Lin Xian. Soon, they arrived at the Array sect, which was already in ruins. The eyes of the 5 shadow guards flashed as they stared at Lin Xian. "It's him. Kill him." The 5 of them were hidden in the void. In an instant, an earth-shattering killing intent erupted. Heaven and earth were once again torn apart, and the 5 of them instantly arrived around Lin Xian. How terrifying! Leaf Dao Denier opened his eyes and cried out in alarm. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. "You're here?" He gripped the immortal slaying sword tightly. The aura here erupted, engulfing everything. Even the people from the East County mansion in the distance could feel it. The Academy Master raised his head and looked into the distance. What happened in the ruins of the Array faction? What a terrifying killing intent. There was a peerless killer. Lan Yingying was worried. Are Lin Gongzi and the others okay? Boom. Suddenly, at this moment, the world changed. All the powerhouses in the East County mansion knelt on the ground in fear. Even the Academy Master's body trembled. He felt an even more terrifying force erupting, as if it was going to destroy everything. The entire place where the Array faction was located was completely enveloped by this light. That's right, the place where the Array faction was located instantly turned pitch black, as if black clouds were pressing down on the city. Lin Xian, Leaf Daodinier, and the others were all facing a great enemy. This power was completely beyond their expectations. Even Lin Xian was a little confused. Didn't they say that there was no power of an Earth immortal? Why was this power so terrifying? With a boom, their sword energy surged into the sky. Zhou Tianchi stood motionless in the Array formation. His figure appeared, and his gaze was extremely deep. In the void, the 5 figures in black armor were not counted. They were the 5 shadow guards. At this moment, their bodies were stained with blood, and their faces were filled with horror as they looked up at the sky. Was this the attack of an Earth immortal? Who are you? Are you the Zhou Tianchi from back then? One of the shadow guards roared. As soon as these words came out, Lin Xian was even more stunned. What was going on? These people didn't know the Hand of the Heavens. What was this Hand of the Heavens? There was no response. The big hand in the sky fell directly and enveloped the 5 shadow guards. Counterattack! The 5 shadow guards roared. They used their terrifying killing moves while fleeing into the distance. However, it was useless. With a light slap of the palm, the 5 shadow guards were reduced to ashes. Among them, there were 2 super great emperors. However, they died instantly. What kind of power was this? It was unimaginable. Lin Xian was facing a great enemy. In an instant, he took out the purple gourd. The aura of the 3 true fires spread out. Zhou Tianchi said, "Don't act rashly. He's not an enemy." What? Lin Xian was stunned. Not an enemy? He looked forward carefully, and then he was even more shocked. He was so nervous just now that he didn't investigate carefully. Now, when he looked at it with his Rinnegan, he took a breath of cold air. The mysterious aura of this big hand of the heavens was somewhat similar to that of the 3 true fire. They were both immortal powers. Could this thing have something to do with the immortal city? Lin Xian was very curious. At the same time, the tension in his heart disappeared. At this time, a low voice came from the big hand of the heavens. "Intruder, congratulations. You've managed to collect more than 35 longevity fruits at the 7th layer of heaven. You have successfully summoned me." Lin Xian had 28 fruits before, plus 11 fruits in the 7th heaven. Now he had 39. This number was completely beyond imagination. To be honest, even Lin Xian didn't think about it before. Lin Xian felt that it was already very heaven-defying to get half of the fruits in the divine realm. But now, except for the first fruit in the 1st heaven, he didn't get any. The remaining few heavens were all with him. And Higgins' number was 0. Higgin would probably go crazy. That's right, the remaining people of Higgin were indeed crazy. They had never encountered such a situation. Lin Xian was pleasantly surprised. This immortal hand was actually summoned. He clasped his fist and said, "Senior, what advice do you have?" The other party came out. There must be some benefits. Maybe there was a special mission? To be able to get the next longevity fruit, or even to get the information of the immortal token. Thinking of this, Lin Xian was extremely excited. "Intruder, now you have 2 choices. First, I can directly break the heaven and earth and send you to the 9th heaven. There are the last 9 longevity fruits there." Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. Now, the entire immortal city only had 9 longevity fruits left, but he didn't expect that they were all in the 9th heaven. It seemed that there was nothing in the 8th heaven. Under normal circumstances, he would go to the 8th heaven first, and then he could enter the 9th heaven. This way, he would waste a lot of time, and more importantly, there would be countless dangers. But now, there was a chance for him to directly enter the 9th heaven. It was really great. Chapter 62-84. The immortal hand's words made Lin Xian happy. This way, he could save a lot of time. He could use this time to continue to cultivate his body. However, the heavenly cycle master next to him said, "Don't worry, listen patiently." Lin Xian was stunned. The heavenly cycle master's words had a hidden meaning. Although he didn't say it explicitly, he wanted him to wait patiently. Lin Xian calmed down. At this time, the immortal hand in front of him said, "The second choice, I can take you to the 8th layer of heaven. This way, you don't have to go through the heaven and earth array of the 7th layer of heaven." Lin Xian was stunned. Yi Wudao also frowned. Entering the 8th layer of heaven was just passing through an array? If that was the case, everyone would choose the first choice. However, Lin Xian's heart skipped a beat. He asked, "Senior, there is no longevity fruit in the 8th layer of heaven. Logically speaking, intruders shouldn't go in. But why do you still want to take me there? Is there anything else in the 8th layer of heaven?" "Intruder, you are very smart." The immortal hand said, "There is indeed no longevity fruit in the 8th layer of heaven, not even one. However, it has something else. It has a clue to the immortal token. If you want to find the immortal token, you can only find clues in the 8th layer of heaven. Otherwise, even if you break through the 9th layer of heaven, you won't find any clues." After Lin Xian heard this, he gasped. No wonder he had to go to the 8th layer of heaven. The heavenly cycle master was reminding him. Fortunately, he didn't get excited and immediately choose. Instead, he listened patiently. Otherwise, he would have missed the immortal token. Lin Xian continued to ask, "Senior, is the immortal token in the 8th layer of heaven?" However, the immortal hand said, "If you want to get the immortal token, you have to find clues first. Otherwise, no one can tell you where the immortal token is. As for whether you want to find the immortal token, it's up to you. Now tell me your decision." Lin Xian wanted to say something, but he still looked at the heavenly cycle master. Perhaps he could give him some advice. The heavenly cycle master said, "If you really want to find the immortal token, this is a chance." Moreover, it was their only chance. However, I have to remind you that the 8th heaven is equally dangerous. Moreover, due to some recent events, that place had become even more dangerous and unpredictable. The difficulty of finding the undying token is 10 times harder than before, or even 100 times. Why? Lin Xian was stunned. What was going to happen next? Zhou Tianshi glanced at the immortal hand and said in a low voice, "Next, some people are going to break through to the immortal realm." What did it mean to break through to the immortal realm? Lin Xian was even more shocked. Immortal? What is that? Was the power of immortality a power that surpassed that of land immortals? Lin Xian had many questions. However, the heavenly cycle master did not explain at all. He said, "If you really decide to go to the 8th level of heaven, then I will tell you. I can even help you. I will go to the 8th heavenly layer. Even if there is a slight possibility, I will not give up." Although Lin Xian had obtained 39 longevity fruits, Lin Xian didn't have any. He might even get the remaining 9 and leave with most of the people from the Nirvana realm. But now, Lin Xian changed his mind. The immortal token might be more important. Not only could he take people away, but he could also take others away. For example, he couldn't take the heavenly cycle master away. If he had the immortal token, he could take the heavenly cycle master away. Lin Xian really wanted to take the heavenly cycle master away. The heavenly cycle master's array was very helpful to the divine realm. The immortal fire and the immortal hand were extremely mysterious. Lin Xian wanted to explore the secrets of immortality. Therefore, he wanted to find the immortal token. Hearing Lin Xian's answer, the heavenly cycle master said, "Well, you can take this thing." The heavenly cycle master handed over a flag. It was a green flag that was only the size of a palm. There was a mysterious rune engraved on it with a number 7. "You will represent me in the 7th level of heaven to participate in the immortal realm." Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian didn't say anything when the heavenly cycle master said this. A terrifying aura suddenly erupted from the heavenly cycle master's hand, as if it was going to destroy the world. The destructive power coming from it made people feel as if they were facing a great enemy. The heavenly cycle master's expression was calm. He said, "Don't worry, I won't go against the immortal realm. In fact, I will stand on your side. You should know that I was harmed. However, because of your position, you can't help me. I also understand this point very well. And I guess that the person who harmed me should be an earth immortal from the other levels of heaven. They want someone else to become the guardian of the 7th level of heaven. Then, they will unite the power of the 7th level of heaven and attack the immortal realm together." "It's good that you understand," the immortal hand said. The heavenly cycle master nodded. In fact, he had guessed more or less. The mastermind did have this idea, because when the heavenly cycle master was still at his peak, someone did come to him to talk about this matter. However, the heavenly cycle master refused. At that time, he didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay in the 7th level of heaven with Yuxian, and live forever. However, things changed later. So now, the heavenly cycle master's decision had also changed. The heavenly cycle master pointed at Lin Xian and said, "He is the intruder. It's better to let him attack the immortal realm and obtain the immortal token than to let the other earth immortals get it." The immortal hand was silent, but it was obviously a tacit agreement. Lin Xian asked, "Senior, what's going on?" The heavenly cycle master said, "What will happen next in the 8th level of heaven is to attack the immortal realm." It was a gathering held by the earth immortals of the other levels of heaven in order to leave the immortal city. They would join forces to search for clues about the immortal token. Because if they obtained the immortal token, they would be able to leave Bushio City. Although the earth immortals were the guardians here, they could sweep through heaven and earth. However, every earth immortal had their own reasons to guard this place. Some were forced to stay here, while others were threatened and suppressed here. Hearing this, Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. Yi Wudao was also stunned. Who was the one who threatened and suppressed the earth immortals? How much power did he have to possess? Could it be the master of the immortal city? How terrifying was the other party? He didn't dare to imagine. There were many secrets in the immortal city. However, it's not the time for you to explore. Your strength isn't enough. Even the earth immortals might not be able to explore the secrets here. However, you can participate in the matter of the 8th level. Lin Xian said, "You mean, the earth immortals of the other levels of heaven will gather in the 8th level of heaven?" His little face was a little dark. He said, "I have some grudges with several earth immortals. Previously, I could threaten one or two of them. However, if they all appeared together, he couldn't threaten them at all. Would he be slapped to death? This was what he was most worried about." Chapter 62-85. Facing an earth immortal, Lin Xian still dared to challenge him because he had the 3 true fire in his hands and could threaten him. But facing a group of earth immortals, Lin Xian had no choice. Even his own life was in danger. Zhou Tianshi shook his head. "You don't represent yourself now. You still represent the will of the 7th heaven, so they won't kill you. Of course, they might join forces to suppress you and ostracize you. As for killing you, there was only one possibility, which was after they obtained the immortal token. At that time, they would completely fall out and no longer care about the rules of the immortal city." "Understood." Lin Xian nodded. Although it was still very dangerous, he had already decided to go. Lin Xian looked at the immortal hand and said, "Senior, I choose to go to the 8th heaven." "Okay." The immortal hand descended and enveloped Lin Xian. Then, it flew directly into the sky. With a boom, the 7th heaven shattered and the 8th heaven opened. Lin Xian's figure disappeared. Yi Wudao looked into the distance and said, "Lin Xian, you have to come back alive." The heaven and earth phenomenon here made the people of the 7th heaven kneel and kowtow. The people of the East County were also shocked. Did Lin Xian leave? Was he taken away by a mysterious hand? It was really heaven-defying. Only the people of the 7th heaven knew about this situation. The others didn't know. The intruders of the other heavens were really like ice and fire. To be honest, many people had the heart to die, especially the people of the Nirvana realm. They had all gone crazy. Because during this period of time, they kept hearing loud and clear voices resounding between heaven and earth. Someone had obtained the 10th longevity fruit. Someone had obtained the 20th longevity fruit. Someone had obtained the 30th longevity fruit. One after another, the voices made everyone go crazy. Now, the 39th longevity fruit had been obtained by others, but most of the people of the Nirvana realm didn't even see a shadow of the longevity fruit. Nine-tailed Fox felt that he had gone crazy. He doubted life. When he was outside, he was a top genius, the disciple of a earth immortal, high and mighty. He could turn a world into ashes with a wave of his hand. But here, he felt that his life was incomparably sullen. He was even a little frightened. There were still 9 longevity fruits left. Could he get them? If he couldn't get it, would he die here? When he thought of this possibility, his body began to tremble, and his face turned even paler. However, there was still hope in his heart. Perhaps many of the fruits were obtained by people from the Nirvana realm. Although his speed was also very fast, there were still people walking in front of him. Among them were Great Emperor Xing Yao and Great Emperor Congqing. The two of them were very fast and had already reached the other few levels of heaven. The strength of these two people was not weaker than the nine-tailed fox. Therefore, Nine-tailed Fox felt that many of the longevity fruits had been obtained by these two people, but he had not found them yet. Boom! Finally, the Nine-tailed Fox arrived at the 5th heaven. He was not searching. He guessed that the longevity fruit of the 5th heaven should have disappeared as well. Hence, he continued his journey towards the 6th heaven. The other intruders also arrived one after another. Some of them had even begun to arrive at the 6th layer of heaven. Unfortunately, the longevity fruit of the 6th layer of heaven was also gone. Even the 7th layer of heaven was gone. These people from the Nirvana realm were destined to be miserable. On the other hand, in the mysterious cave abode of the 2nd layer of heaven, Murong Qingqing opened her eyes. The phoenix aura on her body was even more terrifying, as if she had turned into an ancient phoenix. She had mastered a new lost art, which made her extremely happy. Her current strength had undergone an earth-shattering change compared to when she had first arrived. However, she still stood up and asked, "Senior, when can I leave?" She hadn't forgotten her mission to come here. "No hurry." A pleasant voice came from the cave abode. Obviously, this mysterious person was very satisfied with Murong Qingqing's performance. "You have already obtained a longevity fruit. You can live on. Don't worry about your life." Murong Qingqing shook her head and said, "It's not enough. What about Brother Xian? The other people in the divine realm are also in danger. I want to help them." "The Brother Xian you mentioned, is it this young man?" Suddenly, a light flashed in front of the cave abode, forming a young figure. It was Lin Xian's figure. When she saw the portrait, Murong Qingqing nodded. "Yes, Senior. You know Brother Xian? Could it be that Brother Xian is in danger? I must save him." At this moment, Murong Qingqing became extremely anxious. The voice laughed again. "So it's him. Then you don't have to worry. This little guy has already gone to the 7th layer of heaven and obtained the longevity fruit of the 7th layer of heaven. He now has 39 longevity fruits on him." "What? 39? Brother Xian is so powerful?" Murong Qingqing was extremely surprised. "He is indeed very powerful. I have been here for countless years and have seen several groups of intruders. However, he is the only one who has collected so many longevity fruits by himself. Little girl, you can rest assured now. You can continue to cultivate here with peace of mind. When your brother Xian reaches the 9th layer of heaven, I will let you meet up with him." "Really? That's great. Thank you, Senior." Murong Qingqing was very happy and continued to cultivate the phoenix technique. In the deepest part of the ancient cave abode, the light condensed into the figure of a young girl. This young girl was only 16 or 17 years old and was very handsome. She was the mysterious master of the ancient cave abode. At this moment, her eyes flickered as she looked into the distance. Her gaze seemed to be able to pierce through heaven and earth and see everything clearly. She sighed. He was indeed a rare young genius, but he was also extremely dangerous. "If this kid can survive to the 9th layer of heaven, I will only let you meet. However, if he really dies in the 8th layer of heaven, there is no need for you to meet." This mysterious girl naturally saw Lin Xian heading to the 8th layer of heaven, but she did not tell Morong Chinching. Boom, boom. At the intersection of the third and fourth layers of heaven, there was an ancient tomb. It was called the demon god's ancient tomb. At this moment, the door of the ancient tomb opened and three powerful figures walked out. These three earth immortals were the eagle god, the giant elephant, and the nine-headed lion. They were the guardians of the third, fourth, and fifth layers of heaven. At this moment, they came out of the ancient tomb and laughed heartily. They were very happy. The giant elephant was very excited, and the eagle god was also full of smiles. This time, we finally got that thing. This way, when we reach the immortal realm in the eighth layer of heaven, we will have a great victory. That's right. With the three of us joining forces, the other guardians are no match for us at all. The nine-headed lion said, "The others are fine, but I am worried about the people in the ninth layer of heaven. If they come down personally, things will be troublesome." Chapter 62-86. The nine-headed lion said, "Don't worry, under normal circumstances, the earth immortals of the ninth heaven won't come out casually. Of course, they will send some people, but they should only be super great emperors. Don't worry too much. Let's go to the eighth heaven." The three earth immortals tore open the void and quickly left. At the same time, the purple immortal of the sixth heaven moved out. Even the dream god of the second heaven also woke up from his cultivation and headed to the eighth heaven. There were also people from the ninth heaven. Everyone gathered at the eighth heaven. Lin Xian also arrived at the eighth heaven. As soon as he arrived, he felt a huge pressure enveloping him. There were more than one earth immortal in the eighth heaven, and there were even some familiar auras. From the looks of it, the people he had guessed were here as well. Lin Xian quickly flew towards the place where the auras were. Now, he represented the seventh heaven, and his identity was not ordinary. Those earth immortals probably did not dare to make a move. After flying like this for about a day, a mountain peak appeared in front of him. It was extremely terrifying. There were many figures standing outside. "Stop. This is not a place where you can come." There were several powerful demonic beasts blocking the way. There were also countless martial artists in the eighth heaven. But after they arrived, those martial artists were all sent flying. Anyone who dared to cross the line was killed. But he didn't expect that someone would come here. Did they want to die? Lin Xian stopped and looked in front of him. He laughed coldly. "I was wondering who it was. It turned out to be you guys who lost to me. Leave quickly and I'll spare your life." Lin Xian really recognized the few powerful demonic beasts in front of him. They were the people who followed the giant elephant. "It's you." Those powerful demonic beasts' faces changed when they saw Lin Xian. Why was it this kid? Damn it, this kid actually came to the eighth heaven. Quickly report to Lord Giant Elephant and let Lord Giant Elephant take action. It was just a great emperor. Was there a need for an earth immortal to take action? At this time, a figure next to him spoke in a deep voice. This person was wearing black armor, his body was like a javelin, and he had a very sharp aura. This person's name was Zhang Yao, the disciple of the nine-headed lion. As the disciple of an earth immortal, his identity was extraordinary. Moreover, he was a super great emperor himself. He was very powerful. Therefore, he did not take Lin Xian seriously at all. A few demonic thearchs at the side said, "This brat had previously threatened Lord Mammoth that he could not be allowed to enter alive." Just him? Zhang Yao was even more confused. A great emperor dared to threaten an earth immortal? Where did the courage come from? Did he eat a leopard's guts? Big brother Zhang Yao, this kid is not ordinary. He is the one who opened the demon god's tomb. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yao was stunned. He was the one who had opened the Fey god's tomb? He naturally knew of such a huge matter because his master and two other land immortals had entered the Fey god ancient tomb together. He stayed there for a long time before coming out. However, he never expected that the punk in front of him had opened the Fey god's tomb. I always wondered who that young man was. From the looks of it now, it was only SOSO. Perhaps he was just lucky. Let me see just how strong this kid is. From the looks of it, he wanted to make a move against Lin Xian. The surrounding demonic thearchs were stunned. Then they laughed. Zhang Yao was much stronger than them. Moreover, as the disciple of an earth immortal, he was definitely terrifying. If he made a move, he might really be able to teach this kid a lesson. Heh. They looked at Lin Xian with pity in their eyes. Song Yao's attacks were very cruel. Those who fought with him would either die or be injured. Song Yao walked out, emitting a terrifying demonic aura. He said in a deep voice, "Kid, show me your true strength and fight with me. You are the nine-headed lion's disciple?" Lin Xian looked at him and shook his head slightly. "I'll give you a chance. I won't attack you. Step aside and don't block my way." Lin Xian did not make a move immediately. It was not because he was afraid of him, but because he wanted to give the nine-headed lion some face. Because the Golden Lion King was still cultivating beside the nine-headed lion. He was giving the Golden Lion some face. "Are you looking down on me?" Song Yao was furious. The other party was a great emperor. How dare he speak so arrogantly? How dare he look down on him? His face turned gloomy, and a murderous aura quickly spread out from him. "Kid, you have successfully angered me. Now, you will have to suffer my wrath." There was a red flame dancing in his eyes. The few demonic beasts at the side quickly retreated when they saw this scene. They knew that the appearance of the blood-red flame meant that Song Yao was really angry. The consequences would be severe. They laughed out loud. "Kid, you better kneel on the ground and kowtow obediently. Apologize now, and you will live. Otherwise, you will suffer a fate worse than death." Although you opened the demon god's tomb, it was mostly due to luck. If we were to compare strength, you are definitely not Brother Song Yao's opponent. It's too late to apologize now. You have to kneel down and apologize. Song Yao's voice was extremely cold because he was really angry. Sigh. Why are there always people who don't know what death is? Lin Xian sighed. I didn't want to make a move, but since you asked for it, don't blame me. Song Yao was so angry that he was trembling. How dare Lin Xian look down on him? Unforgivable. He roared angrily and threw a punch at Yi Qingyu. There was a sharp light on his fist as he charged forward. The terrifying murderous intent caused the world to crumble. Lin Xian executed the Sky Eagle movement technique and dodged the attack. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Song Yao. He raised his golden right hand and slapped forward. Boom. Puff. A crisp slap was heard. A mouthful of blood flew out from the corner of Song Yao's mouth. Even his teeth flew out. Everyone was dumbfounded by this voice. The surrounding demon emperor's eyes almost popped out. Song Yao was slapped in the face? They couldn't believe it. Not slapping the face. Was Lin Xian trying to form a feud with Song Yao? Where did Lin Xian get his courage from? Just as everyone was in a daze, a second slap was sent over. Pa. Another slap was heard, and it was like thunder. Song Yao was sent flying and fell into the void far away. His brain was in a daze, and he wasn't clear-headed. Someone dared to slap him? Other than his master, who dared to slap his face. Other super great emperors wouldn't dare to do so even if they were given 10 guts. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Slapping you is already going easy on you. If you dare to be arrogant in front of me again, do you believe that I will kill you? His voice wasn't loud, and he even had a smile on his face. However, when they heard this voice, the surrounding demonic emperors shuddered violently. They could feel a chill rising from the bottom of their hearts. This guy really seemed to have the guts to kill. Ruthless. Lunatic. What kind of existence was he? Chapter 62-87. Song Yao could not believe what he had just experienced. Finally, he roared, Kid, do you know who I am? My master is the nine-headed lion. So what? Lin Xian said indifferently. Your master is not here. He has the right to block my path, but you don't have the right to do so. With that, Lin Xian no longer paid any attention to the other party and continued walking forward. No one dared to stop him. The surrounding beasts were dumbfounded. The other party did not put Song Yao in his eyes at all. Song Yao was so angry that he was trembling. Damn it, I must take revenge for this. Just you wait. The killing intent on his body swept through the 9 heavens. The terrifying aura caused the heaven and earth to tremble. The surrounding beasts were trembling. They quickly walked over and said, Brother Song Yao, this kid is too despicable. He actually dares to be disrespectful to you. That's right, Brother Song Yao. Let Lord Nine-Headed Lion take action. He can definitely kill him with one slap. Do you think I'm an idiot? Previously, you wanted to borrow my hand to kill this kid. Now, you want to see my master's hand. Do you really think that you are the only smart ones? Song Yao was furious. With a roar, the surrounding beasts were struck by lightning. They retreated and vomited blood. Brother Song Yao, please spare us. We won't dare to do it again. With a cold roar, Song Yao did not continue to attack. Now, he placed all his attention on Lin Xian. He wanted to think about how to kill him. The eighth heaven was very mysterious. As far as the eye could see, there were mountains, tall and short, terrifying, mysterious, and bizarre. There were all sorts of things that one could imagine. These mountains formed a mountain range called the World Creation Mountain. A mountain was a world. No wonder it dared to call itself the World Creation Mountain. Lin Xian was also astonished. He had obtained some of this information from the Heavenly Cycle Master. After seeing it, he was shocked. The mountain was no longer tall. It was famous with immortals. At this moment, there was more than one Earth immortal on the World Creation Mountain. That powerful aura was enough to suppress everything. Other than the Earth immortals, there were also countless followers. At this moment, these people were also watching curiously from the World Creation Mountain. Legend had it that there was a huge secret here. They did not know if they would be lucky enough to obtain it. Lin Xian's appearance stunned the people in front. They had 10 points of doubt. It was a very unfamiliar face. He didn't recognize it. However, for the other party to be able to come here, he was definitely not simple. Perhaps he was a subordinate of some Earth immortal. They did not make a move. There were even people who came over to chat with him. Lin Xian merely looked at the other party in silence and did not respond. The woman was stunned. Arrogant brat, let's see how this sister will deal with you when I have the chance. The woman clenched her teeth. Her charm had actually failed. Damn it, it's you. Lin Gongzi. At this moment, a cry of surprise was heard. Lin Xian turned to look. Lei Xiao was standing in front of him. Mao Xia and the others. This was the Eagle God's subordinate. Previously, they had formed a team to attack the Fey God's tomb. So they knew each other. It was just that he didn't expect to see him again. Lin Gongzi, it really is you. Under the cat and the others also walked over. They didn't expect to see each other here. They were indeed surprised. After all, they had all followed the land immortals here. Lin Xian was an intruder. Without a land immortal behind him, how did he get here? Lei Xiao said, Lin Gongzi, I know you are here to look for the longevity fruit, but I can tell you that there is no longevity fruit in the 8th level of heaven. You should leave quickly. This place is very dangerous. I know that there is no longevity fruit here, and I am not here to look for the longevity fruit. There is danger everywhere. You don't have to worry about me. Lin Xian said with a smile. Brat, you actually dare to come. I advise you to get lost. Otherwise, when our giant elephant comes, you will be dead. Another woman spoke. This woman was wearing a blue dress. She was a water demon. His figure was erratic, and countless water droplets dripped from his body. Giant elephant? With just him? Lin Xian snorted coldly. You didn't even dare to attack me in the 3rd level of heaven, let alone the 8th level of heaven. Lin Xian's voice was not loud, but his tone was very arrogant. He did not put the land immortals in his eyes at all. This made the figures on the surrounding mountains. They were extremely shocked. Who is this kid? How dare he provoke the land immortals? Which force is he from? Are you courting death? The water demon was furious. Lin Xian glanced at him, and a biting cold sword in tint burst out from his eyes. Suddenly, the water demon's body trembled. He actually had a fatal feeling. He wanted to roar, but he couldn't say anything. Damn it. Why? The other party is just a great emperor. Why should I be afraid of him? The water demon was shocked. Who is the one who dares to provoke me? At this moment, a loud voice came from afar, as if a heavenly god was roaring. Suddenly, a large crack spread from afar. Everyone's scalps went numb with fear. This is the aura of a land immortal. A land immortal has arrived. The water demon trembled with excitement. Great, it's the giant elephant. Brat, you are dead. Greetings, giant elephant. A tall figure walked over from afar. He seemed to have endless power. It was the giant elephant. After arriving, he stared ahead. When he saw Lin Xian, he was stunned. Then, his face turned completely gloomy. "It's you." He gritted his teeth and said. To be honest, he didn't care about ordinary great emperors at all. He wouldn't even remember them. However, the brat in front of him was an exception. The other party was a young great emperor, but he dared to threaten him. However, the other party was an intruder. He had left last time, and it would be difficult to see him again in this lifetime. However, he didn't expect to meet him again in the 8th layer of heaven. This was a good opportunity to kill him. Killing intent emerged in the giant elephant's heart, but he didn't immediately make a move. He knew that the other party had the immortal fire. Last time, he was so embarrassed because he was frightened by this fire. Now, did the other party still have the immortal fire? He had to find a way to investigate first. At the same time, he was even more shocked that the other party had come to the 8th layer of heaven in such a short time. This speed was too fast, so fast that it was unbelievable. The giant elephant in front fell silent, but the power on his body was getting more and more terrifying. As if black clouds were pressing down on the city, everyone's body trembled. At this moment, Lin Xian smiled. "So it's you. It's really been a long time." Facing a land immortal, he didn't feel the slightest pressure. "How dare you? Brat, you are too arrogant. You don't even kneel when you see a land immortal." The water demon next to him shouted angrily. With the giant elephant here, he wasn't worried or afraid. Who would dare to make a move? Puff. A ray of light flashed between heaven and earth, and a sword chi directly slashed at the water demon. With a puff, the water demon was split in half. His body fell from the sky. The water demon was stunned. Someone dares to make a move. How dare you make a move in front of the giant elephant? Who is it? Are you courting death? Chapter 62-88. The water demon screamed in the air. Looking at this scene, everyone was terrified. This guy dared to attack in front of an earth immortal. It was unbelievable. What was even more frightening was that the giant elephant didn't attack or even blame him. Could it be that the giant elephant was afraid of him? What kind of trump card did this kid have? He could make an earth immortal afraid. Lin Xian smiled and retracted his hand. He said lightly, "Giant elephant, your subordinate is too presumptuous. I'll teach him a lesson." "No problem, right?" The giant elephant snorted and didn't say anything. He suspected that the other party still had the immortal fire. Otherwise, why would he dare to be arrogant in front of him? When the others looked at Lin Xian, they were terrified. They didn't dare to challenge this person anymore. These young people were killing gods. They killed without a word. However, the other party succeeded. He didn't take the earth immortal seriously at all. "What's the matter?" A cold voice came from the tall mountain in the distance. Then, a few figures arrived. The surrounding people all knelt down and bowed. Only Lin Xian stood in the air with his hands behind his back. How dare he, a mere great emperor, not bow to the earth immortals when he saw them? The two figures that came were Eagle God and the nine-headed lion. Their terrifying auras filled the air. When they arrived nearby and saw that it was Lin Xian, they were also stunned. "It's you," Eagle God exclaimed. The nine-headed lion's eyes flickered. No wonder the other party didn't bow. He knew this young man. He was very arrogant. "Why are you here? There are no longevity fruits here. Leave." The nine-headed lion didn't attack. However, a young man next to him said, "Master, you can't spare him. He's too arrogant." The one who spoke was Song Yao. He had been defeated by Lin Xian, so he desperately hoped that his master would attack. The nine-headed lion glanced at him. Although he didn't say anything, his eyes were cold. Song Yao didn't dare to speak. He knew that his master was blaming him for his incompetence. Indeed, he was the disciple of an earth immortal. He had the strength of a great emperor and many trump cards. However, he couldn't do anything to a young man of a lower realm. If word got out, it would be too embarrassing. One of the heads of the nine-headed lion turned around and looked at Lin Xian again. "Young man, On account of your meritorious service in opening the ancient tomb, everything that happened before will be written off. I won't hold it against you. You may leave. There is nothing here that you intruders want. Lin Xian smiled. Thank you for your kindness, senior. However, I'm not here for the longevity fruit. Instead, he came for the clues of the immortal order. As soon as he said that, the nine-headed lion was stunned. All 9 heads opened their eyes. Eagle God and Colossus sucked in a breath of cold air. Their eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. How bold! The Colossus roared angrily. A mere great emperor dares to have designs on the immortal token. You must be tired of living, right? Eagle God also sighed. Young man, take back what you just said. Otherwise, your little contribution will vanish. Lin Xian was not afraid. He said, You won't dare to do anything to me. Brat, I know you have the immortal flame, but how much do you have? Now that the 3 of us have joined forces, what can you do? Colossus was also confident this time. The 3 Earth Immortals could definitely crush the other party. As long as they blocked the immortal flame, the rest would be too simple. Without the immortal flame, Lin Xian would be a small ant in front of them. They could kill him 10,000 times in an instant. Since you are so stubborn, we will suppress you first. The 9-headed lion said coldly. Song Yao, who was beside him, was so excited that he trembled. He laughed silently. That's great. Brat, are you still arrogant? Offending 3 Earth Immortals at the same time. No one can save you. The other people also sneered. They had been watching everything silently. They knew that Lin Xian was dead meat. The 3 Earth Immortals in front of him walked over together. The power of the Earth Immortals erupted from their bodies. The terrifying aura crushed everything. The void around Lin Xian shattered. Before attacking, let's see what this is. Lin Xian snorted and took out a flag. On the flag, there was a number 7. The Guardian flag. You actually have this. The 3 Earth Immortals in front stopped in their tracks. They were extremely shocked. Especially Colossus, who was roaring. This is impossible. How did you get it? This thing was only owned by the guardian of each layer of heaven. How did he get it? I represent the 7th layer of heaven. Lin Xian's voice was like thunder, spreading in all directions. Attacking me is challenging the 7th layer of heaven and violating the rules of a mortal city. Let's see who dares. The roar made everyone's heart beat wildly. Song Yao was dumbfounded because he realized that his master was angry. However, he didn't attack. It's over. This brat really intimidated his master. Not only that, he also intimidated the 3 Earth Immortals. Big brother, what should we do? Why don't we suppress him first? Colossus said. The 9-headed lion shook his head. No. Now that we are trying to break through to Immortal City, we are challenging the rules of Immortal City. This is an extremely risky thing to do. If we attack him now, we will be challenging the 7th layer of heaven. The power of Immortal City might erupt in advance. This way, our following actions will be greatly hindered. Let's let this brat live first. Colossus gritted his teeth. Then let's let him live for a while. However, after we succeed in breaking through to Immortal City, we definitely can't let this brat live. Don't worry. The 9-headed lion also said, No one can challenge us and escape unscathed. Colossus smiled. He knew that his big brother also had the intention to kill. This way, the other party would die sooner or later. Seeing that the 3 Earth Immortals didn't take action, Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that Zhou Tianshi was right. These people didn't dare to break the rules now. Of course, once they got the immortal token, it would be different. However, Lin Xian wouldn't let these people get the clue of the immortal token. Only he could get this clue. Let's go. We will break through to Immortal City together. Lin Xian walked forward. He came in front of the Earth Immortals casually. Then, he glanced at Song Yao. Song Yao was so scared that he lowered his head and didn't dare to say anything. Ha ha ha. Lin Xian laughed heartily. Then, he flew towards the huge mountain in the distance. The 3 Earth Immortals disappeared for a year. In their eyes, Lin Xian was already a dead man. It was only a matter of time. Let's go too. The 3 of them left together. The most important thing now was to break through to Immortal City. Everything else was not important. On the huge mountain, there were a few figures. Among them, there was a person in purple clothes that fluttered like an immortal spirit. He was the sixth layer of heaven, purple immortal. Beside him, there were a few figures. There were old people and young people. They weren't earth immortals, but they were qualified to stand here, because they represented the ninth layer of heaven. Chapter 62-89. Someone was coming. Purple Immortal and the few people from the ninth heaven looked over in their direction. When they saw Lin Xian, they were all stunned. An unfamiliar young man, just a great emperor. Why was he here? Logically speaking, even the followers of an earth immortal were not qualified to come here. Who are you? On the ninth heaven side, a man in a green robe shouted coldly. His expression was cold, like a war god. Of course, he was not a real earth immortal, but just a super great emperor. However, among the super great emperors, he was extremely terrifying. He was very proud, enough to sweep through everything. This is not a place where you can come. The man in green robe shouted coldly. Lin Xian didn't stop walking. He continued to look ahead. Then he laughed. You are just a super great emperor. If you can come, why can't I? Courting death, can you compare to me? The man in green robe shouted coldly and stretched out his hand. His palm was like a hammer, rushing out and killing Lin Xian. Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. The Sky Eagle instantly. He dodged this move. The great emperor in green robe frowned. Eagle God's unique skill. You are the third heaven, Eagle God's subordinate. His face darkened. Didn't Eagle God tell you? Facing the ninth heaven, do you have to kneel down and kowtow? Although he was just a super great emperor, his tone was even more arrogant than an earth immortal. Buzz. Lin Xian slashed out with his sword, and a biting cold sword chi shot forward. The man in green robe's face changed. You are courting death. He punched out. The two collided, and he was forced back. This sword was out of his expectations. Under his carelessness, he suffered a loss. His fist cracked, and white bones appeared. You are courting death. He was angry. He was ready to use all his strength to kill the other party. Don't do it first. At this time, Purple Immortal walked out. He waved his hand and stopped the great emperor in green robe. At the same time, he frowned and said, Kid, you are not dead. It seems that I have underestimated you. He naturally recognized Lin Xian. He did not expect that his sister's secret guards to fail to kill the other party. Instead, the other party had really come to the eighth heaven. Were those secret guards dead? How did you kill them? Violet Immortal said coldly. Hearing this, the cyan-robed great emperor's eyebrows twitched. The shadow guard is dead. Who is this kid? He did not dare to act rashly. Lin Xian said, Oh, you mean those people? They were dead. In an instant, his astral soul was destroyed. As for who did it? Take a guess. Purple Immortal frowned. This kid was even more arrogant than before. Could it be that Heavenly Master Zhou did it? I know you have immortal energy, but it's very little. At most, you can only use it once. This time, there was more than one land immortal. So, you don't have the right to be arrogant here. Is that so? I came here with the permission of 3 land immortals. Lin Xian pointed at the 3 people behind them and said, The 3 of them have agreed. What right do you have to object? You agreed. Violet Immortal was stunned. She looked ahead. The 9-headed lion and the other 2 arrived. They nodded and said, That's right. We agreed to let him stay here. Are you crazy? Violet Immortal jumped up. Eagle God said, He represents the 7th layer of heaven. That's right. I represent the 7th layer of heaven. Lin Xian waved his hand and took out the flag. Then, he boldly found a place and sat down. He said lightly, Now, let's see who dares to drive me away. The surroundings fell silent for a moment. No one spoke. The other party could hold this flag, which meant that he was qualified to come here. However, this kid was too arrogant. Everyone wanted to slap him to death. Let's talk about the big picture. How are we going to attack each other? Before we find any clues, let's work together. Okay. Violet Immortal nodded. The people from the 9th layer of heaven also walked over. They did not represent one land immortal. There were several land immortals in the ninth layer of heaven. Each land immortal sent a representative. At present, there were three forces. One of them was the mysterious woman in purple, who was Violet Immortal's sister. He and Violet Immortal could be counted as one side. As for the nine-headed lion and his brothers, they were counted as one side. The dream god had not appeared yet. The other two land immortals of the ninth layer of heaven were temporarily working together. As for Lin Xian, of course, he would fight alone. Everyone stayed far away from him. Even if they allowed him to be here, they did not plan to work together with Lin Xian. The nine-headed lion said coldly, "Don't be like this. This kid is not ordinary. He can represent the seventh layer of heaven and prove his strength. And I heard that he has the power of immortality. It's best if we use his power to break through to immortality." That's right. The Colossus also said, "It's not too late to kill him after we find clues." The people from the ninth layer of heaven nodded. Violet Immortal did not say anything. He glanced at them with a strange expression. He found an opportunity to send a voice transmission to the giant elephant and said a few words. The Colossus was stunned. Then he said, "That's not my weapon. It's Lin Xian, that kid. I gave him a weapon before. He's framing me." It turned out that Violet Immortal transmitted a message to the Colossus. He said that he found a weapon in the ruins of the seventh layer of Heaven Array sect. After the Colossus heard it, he immediately denied it. Violet Immortal said, "We don't need to know who you gave the weapon to. We just need to know that your information is on it. Do you know? With the fragments of the weapon, my sister will have an excuse to cross worlds and fight. If she wants to attack you, can you resist?" The Colossus's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and said, "What do you want?" Violet Immortal smiled. "Of course, we want to work together. My sister wants to work with you." The Colossus was silent for a while. Then he transmitted a message. "Okay, but we can only work together secretly. I don't want to fall out with my brother now." "No problem." Violet Immortal smiled. Happy cooperation. Next, the land immortals worked together and used their divine fire to condense a huge mirror. This mirror turned into the sky mirror. It covered the whole sky and flew toward the world creation mountain. What were they looking for? This place was very suspicious. The sky mirror condensed a light beam and hit a mountain in the distance. That place was very far away. Looking from the mountain where they were sitting, they could only see a light spot. "Go and check it out. We won't let go of any possibility," the nine-headed lion said. The others nodded. They were ready to send their subordinates to check it out together. The World Creation Mountain hid a secret. This secret was the clue to the Immortal Token, and the so-called Immortal was to find this clue. Once they found it, they would have a great chance to get the Immortal Token and leave the Immortal City. Violet Immortal looked at Lin Xian and said lightly, "Lin Gongzi, you are powerful. Why don't you come with us this time? After all, we are now an alliance. Yes, if you want to work with us, you have to listen to us." The Colossus also snorted coldly. Countless pairs of eyes glanced toward Lin Xian. Chapter 6290. "Sure, no problem." Lin Xian laughed. So straightforward? This made Purple Immortal and the giant statue stunned. Could this kid be plotting something? However, they soon laughed. They were really thinking too much. He was just an ant. Even if he had a plot, so what? They were here, and there were several kinds of Earth Immortals. Could it be that they would be fooled by the other party? In the face of absolute strength, all schemes were futile. So what if the other party represented the seventh heaven? Even the heavenly cycle master at his peak would not be able to fight against several Earth Immortals alone. Therefore, they were thinking too much. In that case, let's go. Go and come back quickly. Don't waste time. Several Earth Immortals ordered. Immediately, a few figures flew out from under them. They formed a team of more than 10 people. Lin Xian also followed. This team flew towards the distant light spot. As for the other Earth Immortals, they were not idle either. They were looking for the next possible place. The eighth heaven was too big, and the World Creation Mountain was extremely mysterious. It was impossible for them to find it in one go. They would probably have to search for a while. The Water Demon was also in this team. They looked at Lin Xian and gritted their teeth. They were wondering if they should join forces with more than 10 great emperors to attack the other party together. See if they could do anything to the other party. After thinking about it, they were not confident. Moreover, this time, it was an order from the Earth Immortals. They did not dare to delay. However, no one would approach Lin Xian. Along the way, Lin Xian was also extremely silent. In his mind, he was perfecting the plan. That's right, it was indeed a plan. This time, Lin Xian and the Immortal Hand had joined forces to set up a plan to defeat these Earth Immortals. Moreover, the Immortal Hand promised that as long as Lin Xian did this, he would give Lin Xian clues about the Immortal Token. Lin Xian agreed decisively. Most of these Earth Immortals had enmity with him and would not let him go. It was better to cooperate and injure these Earth Immortals. This was killing two birds with one stone. Finally, they arrived at the place where the light spot was. From afar, it looked like a dot of light. But now, it covered hundreds of mountains. They had to search carefully. When all of the mountains had been collected, they sighed. There are no clues. This place is fake. At this moment, another light spot descended from the sky, and the Land Immortal's voice sounded, "Go here." Soon, they set off again. However, after the third time, these people were in despair. There were no clues at all. "Come back and rest. Let's change the team." The nine-headed lion spoke. Everyone returned to rest. However, Lin Xian said, "I'll go again. I didn't use much energy." He was very proactive, which made the nine-headed lion, purple deity, and the others frown slightly. There was definitely something wrong with this kid. They secretly instructed their subordinates, be careful and be on guard at the same time. Don't get tricked by the other party. The great emperors under him nodded. Along the way, they were on guard against Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian had no intention of harming them. Instead, he personally inspected every mountain peak. It was as if he would not let go of any clues. When he returned for the fourth time, his subordinates told the nine-headed lion and the other Land Immortals about this news. This made the Land Immortals very surprised. Could it be that this kid had no ulterior motives? Eagle Deity said, "Maybe he just wants to find clues." Purple Deity said, "That's true. When he came to the sixth heaven, he asked me for clues about the Immortal Token. At that time, I thought this kid was an idiot. Now, it seems that he really has an idea about the Immortal Token. No wonder he's so proactive. However, this is also good. Let him be the vanguard. Anyway, if he finds it, it will be ours sooner or later." The Land Immortals all laughed. On the fifth trip, Lin Xian still participated. This time, they encountered danger. A formation appeared. The terrifying Great Formation enveloped heaven and earth, losing its effectiveness. The places it touched were all affected. Break out of the encirclement. With a roar, they all counterattacked. The formation flickered, and terrifying ice and snow rushed over. The vast ice wanted to freeze everyone. "Get lost," Lin Xian roared. The water and fire on his body seemed to have turned into a fire god. He began to melt the ice and snow. He said, "Let's go." Everyone was stunned. They didn't expect Lin Xian to help them. However, they didn't hesitate at all. They didn't even want to help Lin Xian. They quickly rushed over. Soon, only Lin Xian was left in the formation. Lin Xian roared angrily. His golden right hand slapped out, forming a monstrous divine flame that directly shattered the ice and snow in the sky. Heaven and earth broke open, and Lin Xian rushed out. The people outside were terrified. This guy was so strong. Even the water demon's face was ugly. Previously, Lin Xian had seriously injured him with one sword strike. But later, the Land Immortals helped him recover. Previously, he gnashed his teeth at Lin Xian. But this time, Lin Xian saved his life. It felt so unreal. Seeing Lin Xian come out, the water demon gritted his teeth and said, "Kid, don't expect me to thank you. That's right, we won't let you go." The other demonic beasts also gnashed their teeth. The people of the ninth heaven were even more murderous. Lin Xian said, "You think too much. I let you live so that you can find clues to improve efficiency. I only have one goal, and that is the clue of the Immortal Token." Damn it, what an arrogant kid. They gnashed their teeth. They continued to search. Following that, they encountered more dangers, terrifying formations, and even terrifying puppets. That puppet was very powerful and chased them all the way. Fortunately, Lin Xian was extremely powerful and restrained the puppet, allowing them to escape. However, this time, Lin Xian seemed to be injured, and a crack appeared on his body. The other few people frowned. This time, they didn't mock and ridicule him. Lin Xian still didn't stand with these people. Instead, he sat alone and healed his wounds. He thought to himself, it's not easy to act. If I don't pay a price and act realistically, how can these people believe it? That's right, everything was an act. These were all arranged. Lin Xian had the aura of the immortal hand. To be honest, he wouldn't be in any danger in the entire eighth heaven. However, in order to act realistically, he would rather be injured himself. After all, he had to deceive several land immortals. Next, he had to continue acting. They continued to search. When they reached the 13th possible location, they found that there was no way they could find it. Everyone was in danger. This time, the danger was 10% terrifying. The mountain peak cracked, and they were directly pushed in. Countless divine and immortal powers appeared around them. It was extremely terrifying. These great emperors were desperate. Are we going to die? Lin Xian said. Don't worry. This place is so magical. Maybe there is something we want. Go and look for it. Lin Xian shouted angrily, pushing the golden right hand and blasting in all directions. Soon, a large number of mountain peaks cracked, and some light shone out from the cracks. Lin Xian exclaimed, "There is a treasure." Everyone turned their heads to look. In the next moment, their eyes almost popped out. They saw that there was a sky full of treasures around them, piled up into a mountain. Chapter 6291. The people who came in went crazy when they saw the scene around them. They even forgot about the danger, because the scene around them was too shocking. They entered the crack in the mountain. Lin Xian attacked continuously and tore open all the cracks in the mountain. Then, a monstrous radiance appeared in that place. A mysterious aura appeared. The mountain wall cracked open, and the things inside scattered out. Instantly, they filled the space. What were these things? Divine herbs that were tens of thousands of years old and hundreds of thousands of years old fell to the ground. All kinds of precious metals were scattered there. These were all metals that could be used to refine extreme weapons. There were even metals that could be used to forge divine artifacts. In addition, there were all kinds of natural treasures. They recognized some of them, but they had never seen some of them before. With so many treasures, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to find one. However, at this moment, there were thousands of them in front of them. How could these great emperors not go crazy? At this moment, they had only one thought. We're rich, we're really rich. With these things, they were even confident that they could cultivate to become Earth Immortals. One had to know how difficult it was to become an Earth Immortal. Previously, Yu Xian had tried her best but failed. She only succeeded after killing Zhou Tianshi. One could imagine how difficult it was to become an Earth Immortal. But now, these great emperors were so confident. It was enough to show how many treasures there were. We're rich, let's do it. The water demon instantly rushed over. His body turned into a sea, and the raging waves crashed against the shore and swept down. Apart from that, there was also the water demon. It turned into the sky. The other great emperors also attacked. Everyone was dividing the treasures. Only Lin Xian did not touch them. The show had begun. Lin Xian thought to himself. Boom! An earth-shattering sound came from below. Then, more than 10 figures all retreated. The water demon and the others vomited blood and rolled in anger. Damn it, they couldn't get it. There was a terrifying power on these treasures that sealed everything. They were about to tear it open. They continued to attack. However, after hundreds and thousands of moves, they were about to despair. At this moment, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Idiot! What did you say? The water demon turned his head and was angry. The others were also envious. Lin Wudi, don't think that you can be arrogant in front of me just because you saved me. We won't give you any of these treasures. Not a single one. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Can't you see? With that, he activated the 6 paths of reincarnation, and the power of reincarnation enveloped the area below. Immediately, a terrifying divine might appeared on those treasures. As Lin Xian dodged the attacks of the array, he pointed at the water demon and said, "This is divine power, the power of a land immortal. You can't break it, and neither can I. Only by inviting an earth immortal can we break it." What? How could this be? The water demon and the others were in despair. Should we call the land immortals over? In that case, they wouldn't be able to obtain any treasures. Don't be greedy. Do you want to monopolize all the treasures here? The land immortals will tear you to pieces. Do you think they don't know anything? Hurry up and call the land immortal. Why don't you go? They stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "Do they listen to me? You are their subordinates. If you don't leave now, you will all die here." As if confirming Lin Xian's words, the surrounding array suddenly became terrifying. The water demon and the others were sent flying and vomited blood. The divine fire and immortal energy on their bodies dimmed. This kid was right. There was divine power on it, so no one could open it. Let's go and invite the land immortals. Some great emperors decisively tore open the void and dodged. They rushed out. If they went to report now, it would definitely be a great merit. Even if they couldn't obtain these treasures, they would still obtain other benefits. If they were any later, it would be too late. Lin Xian's lips curled up into a smile as he watched the fleeing figures. His target wasn't these great emperors. His target was the land immortals. Next, when the land immortals entered the game, it would be the real counterattack. On the largest mountain peak, the land immortals controlled the heaven mirror and continued to search. They were very patient. They had been in Immortal City for millions of years. They didn't care about these few months at all. At this moment, a few figures flew over from afar. They were injured and in an extremely sorry state. What's going on? Purple Immortal frowned. Why are you so injured? Did that Lin Xian make a move? Damn it, I knew he didn't have good intentions. The Colossus also roared. However, the water demon and the others said, "It's not him. It's not Lin Xian who made a move on us. We found treasures." They quickly told him what had happened. When they heard that there were thousands of treasures scattered all over the ground like stones, the land immortals were stunned. The land immortals were also stunned. "Are you sure?" "Yes." The water demon nodded and said, "At that time, Lin Xian made a move immediately after seeing the treasures. However, he didn't succeed. He was bounced back. Later, we found that there was a terrifying divine power on it. It was the power of a land immortal. That kid couldn't open it. Did you try?" The 9-headed lion asked. The water demon trembled and quickly lowered his head. "In order to prevent that kid from lying, we also tried." Of course, he didn't dare to say that they were jealous and wanted to snatch the treasures. If he said that, these land immortals would tear him into pieces. Could it be a trap? Purple Immortal was extremely cautious. After all, the 7th heaven set up by her sister was destroyed by this kid. The Colossus said, "That kid has the immortal fire, which is a power that can threaten land immortals. He saw so many treasures. Why didn't he use the immortal fire?" It was a trap. A few of the 9th heaven experts also spoke out. The 9-headed lion's eyes were piercingly cold. "This kid dares to trick us. Bring him back and suppress him. We can't let him continue to participate in the search." However, Purple Immortal said, "Wait, how about I go and take a look?" "You?" They were all stunned and looked at Purple Immortal. "You're not afraid of the immortal fire?" The 9-headed lion's 9 heads bloomed with light. He said, "What other information do you have? You didn't tell us, did you? Say it. Since we've joined forces, it's not nice of you to hide it." In the 9th heaven, the people of the other 2 forces said, "Since Senior Purple Immortal wants to go, why don't we go and take a look together? We have more people, and that kid has a trump card, so he can't resist." Purple Immortal's face turned cold. He snorted. "According to the information I got, that kid used the immortal fire." "Used? Are you sure?" The Colossus roared. Eagle God, the 9-headed lion, and the others were all stunned. Purple Immortal had no choice but to say, The land immortal of the seventh heaven is Yu Xian. She was originally on our side, but she was seriously injured. The one who attacked her was Lin Xian. He used the immortal fire to injure Yu Xian. Therefore, he won the right to come and find the immortal token. Brat, aren't you very arrogant? He even threatened me before. Why didn't you use your trump card to seize these treasures? Lin Xian said, although the treasure is good, it's not my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is the immortal token, so I have to save my trump card for last. At that time, if anyone dares to fight with me for the immortal token, I'll use my trump card to attack them. Purple Deity sneered, her heart filled with disdain. Brat, what are you pretending for? You've used up all your trump cards. Do you really think we don't know? However, he soon stopped paying attention to Lin Xian. He looked ahead and took a deep breath. There are so many treasures here. Because he was a land immortal. At this moment, when he saw the mountain of treasures, his heart skipped a beat. Eagle Deity, who was beside him, couldn't remain calm. He looked at Lin Xian and said, Baby, I can't give you a single one. You should be mentally prepared. He had some friendship with Lin Xian, but he had already given Lin Xian the longevity fruit and Lin Xian the Tianyin instant. Therefore, he didn't owe Lin Xian anything. Lin Xian smiled when he saw the other party's attitude. Previously, he was still hesitating whether he should let Eagle Deity go. Now that he saw Eagle Deity's reaction, he didn't have to hesitate anymore, because he had already decided that he wouldn't let him go. Indeed, he didn't owe him anything. Next, they would be enemies. Make your move. Violet Immortal roared angrily as the purple sword in her hand erupted. A terrifying claw also appeared on Eagle Deity's side. The power of the land immortals swept out, shattering the surrounding array. The other great emperors retreated one after another. Even Lin Xian exclaimed. He waved his hand and took out an array to defend the surroundings. This array was extremely terrifying. It could actually resist some of the power of the land immortals. Eagle Deity was surprised. Violet Immortal snorted coldly. Zhou Tianchu's array. It seemed that the person standing behind him was indeed a Zhou Tianchu. However, this array could only be used for defense. He promised that he would be able to shatter the array within 3 moves. Without the immortal fire, the other party couldn't threaten him at all. If it weren't for the guardian flag, he would have killed him long ago. Now, let's take the treasures first. Let's work together and break all the seals first. Then, we'll take the treasures away. The two land immortals looked at each other and then quickly attacked. Their speed was so fast that the other great emperors couldn't see their movements clearly. They could only feel the endless power erupting. There were only 3 people left in front of them. The 2 land immortals and Lin Xian. Lin Xian was able to get close because of the array formation. The water demon in the sky was envious. This kid really has a lot of trump cards. He's so close. Will he be able to pick up a treasure later? On the other side, Sangya snorted coldly. Impossible. The land immortals won't give him a chance. Just as he finished speaking, a rumbling sound came from below. Then, Violet Immortal was terrified. What's that? Get lost. Eagle Deity also roared angrily. With a roar, a pair of huge wings covered the sky and the earth. Then, he tore open the void and tried to escape. However, he couldn't escape at all. A huge hand appeared and directly enveloped the 2 land immortals. Then, the treasures piled up into a mountain below also erupted with divine power. A terrifying deep pit instantly covered the sky and the earth. Is such a powerful thing a trap? The 2 land immortals attacked crazily. Immortal power, they exclaimed. However, it was useless to say anything. The immortal hand directly suppressed the 2 land immortals under the ground. What happened? An earth-shattering power came from below. All the great emperors were terrified. They fled frantically. When they reached a safe place, they looked at each other in dismay. What happened just now? I heard the land immortal screaming. Could it be a trap? Damn it. Did Lin Wuti make a move? Impossible. He doesn't have that ability. Damn it. This place is so strange. Countless voices of exclamation and discussion sounded. At this moment, Lin Xian flew back from afar. His body was even more broken, and the array around him was also broken. Blood dyed his body red. I was scared to death. If it weren't for the array, I would have died. It's too terrifying. The two land immortals were captured, Lin Xian said as he flew. Chapter 62-93. Lin Xian didn't die. He was still alive. When the people in the distance saw this scene, they all went crazy. They even rushed over and roared, "Where are our land immortals? Where are they?" They had heard purple immortals roar before. Lin Xian sighed and said, "Sigh." The two seniors were enveloped by a mysterious hand. Do you know how terrifying that hand is? It made one's hair stand on end. What's the situation now? I don't know either. Mysterious hand? How could this be? These great emperors were all crazy. Someone stared at Lin Xian and said, "You're the one behind this. You're framing us." That's right. Capture him and take his soul. Immediately, several great emperors attacked Lin Xian. Boom! Lin Xian struck out with his golden right hand. At the same time, his sword energy soared into the sky and repelled these great emperors. He gritted his teeth and said, "Although I'm injured, I'm not someone you can challenge. Also, how powerful are the land immortals? Do you think I can frame them? In the face of absolute strength, everything is in vain. Don't you have any brains?" As he spoke, Lin Xian spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. His aura became even weaker. We can't even defeat the other party who spat out blood? The great emperors' faces were full of frustration. At the same time, they began to think carefully. Indeed, it was possible to trap one land immortal, but it was absolutely impossible to trap two land immortals. What about Eagle God? Eagle God's speed was extremely fast. Could it be that he didn't dodge? Lin Xian shook his head silently and said, "I think the two seniors were temporarily trapped and didn't die. After all, you know how powerful the land immortals are. However, it's impossible for them to come out by themselves. It seems that we can only ask the other land immortals to help us outside." That's right, there were still two land immortals. At this moment, the great emperors under him hurriedly returned. On the huge mountain peak, Giant Elephant, Nine-Headed Lion, and a few others were stunned when they heard the news. The two land immortals had disappeared. They were trapped. What kind of array? To be able to trap a land immortal? Their first thought was that this was Lin Xian's scheme. However, they soon found it laughable. It was one thing for an ant to be able to threaten them with the undying flame. Now that they had set up such a trap, it was impossible for them to jump into it. It was impossible even if she was beaten to death. This kid didn't have that kind of ability. What do you think? The nine-headed lion looked at the giant elephant and the people of the ninth heaven. The giant elephant said, "Third brother's speed is so fast, but he still hasn't come out. You can imagine how terrifying that mysterious hand is." The super great emperors of the nine heavens also said, "Seniors, that place was detected by our sky mirror. It's one of the possibilities." Although other places were also dangerous, they had never been this dangerous. This meant that there might be clues to the immortal token in that place. "Big brother, do you want to go take a look? As long as we are careful, there shouldn't be any problems." The Colossus spoke. The eyes of the nine-headed lion flickered. Then, he nodded slightly. "I think so too. That place must be related to the clues. Let's go and take a look." They moved quickly. Soon, they came to the broken mountain peak. The surrounding demonic beasts quickly knelt down and saluted. Lin Xian's face was also pale. He said, "Seniors, it's great that you're here." Humph. The Colossus snorted coldly. He couldn't wait to kill Lin Xian right now. However, he didn't act. He had to confirm whether it was a clue to the immortal token. Then he could make a move. "You're the only one who saw the situation. Tell us what you know." The Colossus looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, "Two earth immortals attacked the treasures in the sky. However, countless divine power appeared in the sky. In the midst of the divine power, a huge hand suddenly appeared and enveloped the young man." The nine-headed lion and the Colossus were silent after hearing this. They thought of a name in their hearts, Immortal Hand. You all wait here. The two of us will go and take a look. You're not allowed to go either. The Colossus stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, I'm so weak. I don't dare to go over. After speaking, he spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood. Then, the 2 Earth Immortals rushed over. Soon, an earth-shattering sound came from inside. There were also angry roars. Big brother, save me. Let me out. This was the voice of Eagle God and Violet Immortal. The two of them were indeed not dead. They were just trapped. With their strength, they couldn't rush out at all. Don't worry, we're here to save you. The Colossus roared furiously as its 4 feet grew larger. They were like divine pillars that reached the heavens as they ruthlessly smashed down. The 9-headed lion roared. His strength was even more terrifying. The 9 heads actually released different powers as if they were going to destroy the world. This battle lasted for half a month. Every day, it was terrifying. Half a month later, a shattering sound suddenly came from the front. Then, 2 figures rushed out. A figure turned into a terrifying demon beast. His wings covered the sky and earth. The other purple sword energy tore through the sky. It was Eagle God and Violet Immortal. After the 2 of them came out, they roared at the sky. Then, their eyes began to search. They stared at Lin Xian. Kid, you dare to trick me. A sword slashed down. Eagle God's side was also seething with killing intent. I have the Guardian flag. Lin Xian took out the small green flag and raised it in the air. Are you going to violate the rules of the Immortal City? Buzz. The purple sword energy stopped in mid-air. However, the boundless killing intent didn't disappear. Lin Xian said loudly, Seniors, think carefully. What do the treasures in the sky have to do with me? You were too greedy and wanted to swallow all the treasures. That's why you were trapped. And I'm the only one who saw this scene. What? Are you going to kill me? Don't act rashly, the 9-headed lion said. Lin Xian continued, Furthermore, I've examined every single speck of light. This particular speck of light is extremely ferocious. I guess the secret of the immortal token must be here. That's right, Big Brother, and I think so too. Let's check it together. There's an unusual aura here. Eagle God's eyes flashed. He said, We have to take that kid with us. We have to keep an eye on him at all times so that he won't play any tricks. Lin Xian, come here. The 9-headed lion looked at Lin Xian and said, You are also the representative of the 7th level of heaven, so you must come with us to search for clues this time. Thank you, seniors. Not only was Lin Xian not afraid, but he was also very happy. He didn't seem to know the danger and quickly rushed over. However, he snorted coldly in his heart. Old things, you've been tricked. Soon, all of you will be in despair. That's right, trapping these 2 land immortals was part of his plan. Rescuing them was also part of his plan. Only with a plan within a plan could he deceive these land immortals. After all, the 9-headed lion was very cautious. However, no matter how cautious he was, he had no choice but to continue. Chapter 6294. Lin Xian came to the side of the 4 Earth Immortals. To be exact, he walked in the center, surrounded by Earth Immortals. Now, he couldn't escape even if he had wings. However, he didn't care. Instead, he said, Seniors, you're really good to me. This way, I won't have to worry about any attacks. Hearing this, the 4 Earth Immortals sneered. Now, we didn't attack you because of the rules. Once we find a clue, we'll kill you first. Eagle God pointed below and said, Although we were trapped here before, we could still feel that there was more mysterious information below. However, we couldn't break it at that time. Big Brother, let's work together. The 9-headed lion nodded. Then, they quickly worked together. At this moment, the great emperors and super great emperors behind also rushed over. A few people from 9th heaven said, Seniors, please take us with you. We're also here on behalf of 9th heaven. Come over. The 9-headed lion didn't refuse and allowed them to enter together. Because he knew that the array below was even more terrifying. A single Earth Immortal might not be able to block it. If these great emperors and super great emperors really died after entering, it had nothing to do with him. The people of Earth quickly walked into the depths of the mountain. Gradually, they began to sense a mysterious aura emerging from the ground. The aura made many super great emperors tremble. Some great emperors exclaimed, "This is the power of immortality. I can feel the power of immortality." Yes, the immortal aura. This place was indeed related to immortality. The immortal token should be in front of them. They were too excited and happy. Lin Xian's eyes also turned red. However, he restrained himself very well. Soon, the light in his eyes disappeared. However, Purple Immortal and the others sneered. Young people are young. Although it was only for a moment, we still saw it. This kid must have other trump cards to snatch the immortal token. However, it was impossible. They continued to move forward. After about 5 days, they finally stopped. Below, there was a cave, and inside, there was an ancient altar. The patterns on the altar were immortal runes, surrounded by immortal aura. On the altar, there was a key. A primitive, simple, and mysterious key. That key should be the clue to the immortal order. At this moment, the 4 Earth Immortals trembled with excitement. They could no longer remain calm. The great emperors and super great emperors behind him were also surprised. So it was a key. Great. I finally found it. They were happy too. At this time, Lin Xian said faintly, "Seniors, there is only one key." That was all he said. He didn't say anything else after that. However, everyone could tell that this guy was trying to sow discord. After all, it was a key. How could they split it? It was still a problem. "Brat, you talk too much. Do you want to die?" Violet Immortal said coldly. The Colossus also said, "How do we divide? It's not up to you to think. Anyway, you don't have a share." They didn't have the slightest bit of doubt because Lin Xian's performance was just too normal. The 9-headed lion looked at Shi Zhong and said, "Let's think about how to break the array first." Previously, there had already been such a terrifying immortal hand. Around this clue, there should be even more terrifying formations. Yes, that's right. Eagle Deity also nodded. Several super great emperors of the 9th heaven also took a deep breath. It really appeared. Then, they could summon their master. Thinking of this, they quietly put their hands into the storage ring and prepared to crush the teleportation array. At this time, a few black heads suddenly appeared above their heads. In an instant, they were suppressed. The figures of the martial monarchs of the 9th heaven stiffened. "Senior Lion King, why did you attack us? We represent the 9th heaven." The 9-headed lion snorted coldly, "Don't worry, I won't kill you. But before that, if any one of you dares to move a finger, I'll let him know the fate of living a life worse than death." How could the 9-headed lion not know these people's little tricks? They wanted to summon the land immortals of the 9th heaven to come and snatch the treasure from them. Don't even think about it. Since those land immortals didn't come before, there was no need for them to come now. Violet Immortal also frowned slightly. To be honest, at that moment, he also wanted to summon his sister. But now it seemed that he should wait a little longer and see if this array could be broken. "Let's kill this kid first." When he looked at Lin Xian, a cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. The Colossus also turned its head, raised its foot, and was about to land. Lin Xian said, "Don't, we haven't got the key yet. If you kill me, the immortal information here will instantly explode. After all, you are breaking the rules now. Anyway, I can't run away. Why don't I wait until you have the key in your hands? It won't be too late to make a move on me then. Kid, you still have fantasies. Do you really think you can use it in the end? It's ridiculous." "Not necessarily." Lin Xian held the guarding chess piece in his hand and said, "If you want to make a move, you have to bear the consequences. Break the array first. Don't bother with this kid anymore." The 9-headed lion walked over. The 4 land immortals began to search, and an overwhelming power erupted. Everyone retreated into the distance. Lin Xian also retreated. However, at this time, one of the 9-headed lion's heads directly covered him and brought him to his side. At the same time, a cold voice sounded. "You are not allowed to go anywhere. Just stay under my nose. If you dare to do anything, I will kill you immediately. Do you understand? Damn it. Lin Xian gritted his teeth, showing a trace of unhappiness. The nine-headed lion laughed heartily. Right now, everything was under his control. He couldn't come to the people of the ninth level of heaven. As for this purple immortal, there was nothing to be afraid of. He even knew that purple immortal and the concrete elephant had joined hands. But, so what? He had a way to dissolve the alliance between the two. Of course, he didn't break it now, because this array was extremely terrifying, and the four of them had to go all out. Boom! The Colossus's foot struck forward, and suddenly, the sky fell and the earth cracked. However, the array in front of them didn't move at all. They couldn't get close to the ancient altar at all. The immortal runes on the altar seemed to have awakened. They spun quickly, emitting a mysterious aura. So terrifying. The Colossus's arm trembled, but he was even more excited. The Colossus said, "This array is much more difficult than the previous one." Purple Immortal also shouted angrily and slashed out with her sword. Boom, boom. The battle had completely erupted. At this time, a piercing light suddenly erupted from the immortal altar. Then, the array turned into a peerless killing intent that swept in all directions. Run! The surrounding great emperors fled crazily. Some of them were directly cut in half, and their blood stained the ground red. Run far away. These people moved quickly, and they also retreated. However, at this time, a ray of array light directly pierced through Song Yao's body. No! He let out a miserable cry and wanted to resist, but it was too late. In an instant, his body and soul were destroyed. Chapter 6295. When the others saw this scene, they ran even faster. No one below the Earth immortal level could stop this power. They would be courting death if they stayed here. Another thunderbolt flew over. A super great emperor of the ninth level of heaven was pierced through. He let out an unwilling roar. How could this be? He represented the ninth level of heaven. However, it was useless. In front of this peerless array, he was just an ant. With despair and unwillingness, he fell to the ground. As for the others, some were blown away by a force and vomited blood. Some were cut in half. In short, it was very miserable. The only one who was safe was Lin Xian, because Lin Xian was covered by the nine-headed lion's head. Break it with all your strength and don't hold back. The nine-headed lion roared. The other heads unleashed their power and attacked continuously like heaven immortals. At the same time, Purple Immortal said, "I'm afraid with our strength, we can't break it in a short time. How about this? How about calling my sister over?" "Dream on." Eagle God shouted coldly. The nine-headed lion also said, "If you dare to attack, don't blame us three brothers for suppressing you first. Then, the three of us will slowly break the array. Even if it takes 100 or 1,000 years, so what?" Hearing this, Purple Immortal gritted her teeth. Damn it, damn it. Lin Xian sighed in his heart. He really hoped that Purple Immortal's sister would come, because from what he heard, the other party's sister was an Earth Immortal of the ninth level of heaven. If the other party came, he could kill them all. If she didn't come, it would be troublesome when he went to the ninth level of heaven in the future. However, the nine-headed lion and the others didn't think so. They wouldn't allow any Earth Immortal to come. They continued to attack. Monstrous divine power burst out, and the immortal chi was vast. Purple Immortal's face was cold as she attacked. However, she wasn't particularly worried, because she still had a way to summon her sister. However, it would take some time. It just so happened that this array was very difficult, so she had plenty of time. This method was telepathy. If they were in the same level of heaven, this supernatural power could instantly let his sister know his current situation. But now, she wanted to send the news of the ninth level of heaven. It needed to be transmitted across heaven and earth. On the other hand, breaking through heaven and earth energy required a lot of energy, which could only be consumed through time. In the blink of an eye, 1 month passed. 3 months passed. Half a year passed. The battle continued. Developing here was really too terrifying. The few Earth Immortals seemed to be very patient. On this day, Zixian's lips curled into a smile. After spending half a year, he finally managed to send a message through telepathy. The ninth heaven, Purple Mountain. The mysterious purple-clothed woman suddenly opened her eyes. She had found a clue. That was really fast. She was really surprised. Although she had sent her younger brother and her subordinates down, however, there were still no clues. However, she was not in a hurry. How long had it been? Not even a year had passed. How could they possibly find any clues? She didn't expect that she would actually get a clue now. Their minds were connected. The power of the formation was beyond imagination. The purple-robed lady's eyes flickered. At the same time, she snorted coldly. This nine-headed lion was really overbearing. It directly controlled the people of the ninth layer of heaven. Therefore, no news could be spread. She looked into the distance and smiled. Fortunately, I have a younger brother down there. I think the other old monsters still don't know the news, right? The purple-robed lady planned to act quickly. She stretched out her jade-like hand, and a purple vortex appeared. World Creation Mountain, an ancient and mysterious altar. The four Earth Immortals were still fighting with all their might. At this moment, a purple vortex suddenly appeared. Then, a palm fiercely slapped down. The formation began to shake violently. The power of the fifth Earth Immortal. Everyone was shocked. Who was it? The other Earth Immortals were also stunned. Zixian smiled. Sister, you're finally here. Damn it. How could this be? Eagle God's expression changed. The nine-headed lion also frowned. He stared at Zixian with killing intent in his eyes. However, at this moment, a cold voice came from the vortex. Nine-headed lion, if you dare to make a move on my brother, I will kill you even if I cross worlds. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, two more spatial cracks appeared in the surroundings. Following that, terrifying lightning bolts and a terrifying storm swept towards the formation. Suddenly, the formation shook violently. Were there more Earth Immortals? The expressions of Eagle God and the others turned completely ugly. In this way, the three brothers had no advantage. Even Ziyin was angry. You know about it too. An old voice came from the lightning storm. Ziyin, we know that you have a younger brother in the lower realm. So, we have been watching your movements. When you made your move, we knew. Everyone, let's break the formation together. The nine-headed lion and the others had no choice but to agree. This time, there were 7 Earth Immortals. The power was much higher than before. They attacked together. The formation shook violently as if it couldn't hold on at all. The runes kept shattering. Lin Xian was both happy and worried. He was happy that Zixian's sister had finally made a move. However, there were 2 more Earth Immortals. In this way, would his plan succeed? After all, he didn't plan to suppress so many Earth Immortals. However, after watching for a while, he heaved a sigh of relief. Although a few cracks appeared in the sky, the true bodies of the Earth Immortals didn't come over. It seemed that these people had to pay a huge price if they wanted to come down. Crack, crack. More and more of the formation in front of them shattered. Everyone moved forward. Finally, they were close to the ancient altar. Buzz. Great. Sister, hurry up. Zixian roared. He had already distanced himself from the nine-headed lion and the others. In the purple vortex, a jade-like hand finally reached out. Another arm grabbed the key below. How dare you? The nine-headed lion roared angrily, his head shaking the sky. However, the other Earth Immortals also attacked. 3 arms appeared in the sky, each of them carrying purple smoke, a terrifying storm, and a sky full of lightning. Third brother, you attack? The nine-headed lion roared. Eagle God was the fastest. However, the other Earth Immortals weren't slow either. They were only a little behind before they enveloped the ancient altar. At this moment, the ancient altar suddenly erupted with a terrifying light. On the ancient altar, endless runes condensed into an eye and suddenly opened. That gaze enveloped the entire world. It was eerie and creepy. He was the fastest, so he couldn't dodge at all. After being enveloped by that gaze, he felt that his entire body was about to stiffen. At the same time, He let out a terrified roar. Immortal Eye. The other Earth Immortals were also shocked. What was going on? Why did the Immortal Eye only open now? Could it be that someone was consciously controlling it? Run. They retreated frantically. But it was already too late. In the sky, the three arms of the ninth heaven also wanted to escape. However, they were all enveloped by the gaze in an instant. The three arms immediately stiffened, and their movements became very slow. Sister, save me. Zixian was also terrified, because he felt that some mysterious patterns had appeared on his body. His entire body seemed to have turned into a statue. Chapter 6296. Mysterious patterns appeared on the bodies of the Earth Immortals. They looked like the patterns of stones. Their bodies were about to turn into statues. The nine-headed lion roared angrily and used all its firepower to block the attack. They quickly retreated. The other Earth Immortals did the same. They even burned their immortal chi and divine fire without any regard for their lives. They were really afraid. The light from the Eye of Immortality was called the Light of Immortality. Once they were enveloped by it, they would be petrified and turned into stone men. At that time, it would be difficult for them to even move, and their strength would disappear. So now, even if they risked their lives to damage their foundation, they couldn't stay here. They had to escape. Don't you think it's too late to escape? At this moment, a sneer was heard. The voice was very young. Who was it? Eagle God roared. Purple Immortal also roared. But in the next moment, they were stunned. It was Lin Xian's voice. He suddenly turned his head. Lin Xian sneered. Kid, do you want to die? Even we can't resist it, let alone you. Big brother. Kill him? The nine-headed lion's face turned cold, and he wanted to attack. But at this moment, Lin Xian's back split open. A palm appeared behind him and suddenly grew larger, covering the sky and the earth. It was a huge hand, the hand of immortality. Its appearance immediately shrouded the entire sky. It sealed off all the Earth Immortals' escape routes. Damn it! Why do you have the hand of immortality? The nine-headed lion roared crazily. One of his heads was instantly shattered, and blood splattered everywhere. Not only that, his scalp went numb. He felt that he had fallen into a trap. You really tricked us. The other Earth Immortals also understood and gritted their teeth. They had fallen into a trap. That's right, they had fallen into a trap. All of you had fallen into my trap. After saying that, the hand of immortality behind Lin Xian became even more terrifying. Go to hell. The Colossus roared and stomped on Lin Xian, crushing Lin Xian's body. He was finally dead. Little ant, go to hell. They roared crazily. Killing Lin Xian would relieve the hatred in his heart. Although they were smiling, their expressions were extremely ugly. With the immortal hand and the immortal eye, there was no way they could escape. In the end, these land immortals screamed in despair. In fact, the body of the Colossus collapsed directly. The soul wanted to escape, but it was useless. Under the gaze of the undying eye, stone patterns began to appear on their bodies. Gradually, they turned into statues. Damn it! In the sky, the three Earth Immortals of the ninth heaven also roared. Their outstretched hands were completely petrified. Furthermore, this power was still spreading throughout their bodies. They hurriedly retracted their palms and defended themselves. This scene was extremely terrifying. The land immortals who were previously incomparably terrifying and could suppress heaven and earth had all turned into statues and stood there. He was surrounded by a terrifying aura of destruction. The emperors in the distance were all stunned. What's going on? How did their master, a land immortal, become a statue? Should I go over and take a look? That's right. How could this be? Are you courting death? Even an earth immortal couldn't resist it, yet you still want to go over. If you want to die, don't drag me along. All kinds of discussions could be heard. These emperors didn't leave, nor did they dare to go over. At that moment, a figure began to walk forward. Soon, he arrived at the battlefield ahead of him. Who is it? You're so reckless. At this time, if you want to go over, I think you're dead. When they looked over, they were stunned. It's that kid. This back view is so familiar. It's Lin Xian. He's not dead. Impossible. I saw with my own eyes that he was crushed by the giant elephant. How could he not be dead? Magical. It's really magical. The figure walked over and looked at the statues, exclaiming in surprise. At this moment, a roar came from the statue. You're not dead either. How is this possible? This was the voice of the giant elephant. Lin Xian was shocked and quickly retreated. However, he soon smiled. It seems that your bodies have been petrified and your power has disappeared. However, it's not true death. It should be a special state of life. Thinking of this, he smiled again. That's right. I'm indeed not dead. What you killed was just an incarnation. Impossible? You even fooled me. You don't have such ability. The nine-headed lion's voice was also heard. At this moment, it had turned into a lion statue, which was very spectacular. Lin Xian snorted. Impossible? I think you're the ignorant one. The seventh heaven is the heavenly cycle master. Don't you know this little news? The heavenly cycle master made a death substitute rune for me. Just now, I used this kind of rune. By the way, does Yu Xian know about the seventh heaven's earth immortal? Back then, she was also fooled by this kind of rune. That's why she was seriously injured by me. What? The heavenly cycle master's rune? Damn it! The giant elephant roared. The nine-headed lion also roared angrily. Eagle deity was completely silent. Purple deity, on the other hand, went crazy. Previously, he mocked Yu Xian for being an idiot for being defeated by a young emperor. But now, he was also fooled by a young man. Moreover, his ending was worse than Yu Xian's. Yu Xian was seriously injured, but she could still recover. However, they couldn't. After being petrified, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for them to recover. Although they wouldn't die, living in despair like this was even more miserable. For Earth immortals were petrified, and the other three had their arms petrified. Unfortunately, Purple Deity's sister only had one arm petrified. If she was completely petrified, he would have one less enemy when he went to the ninth heaven. However, this kind of result was already very satisfactory. At least, the immortal hand was very satisfied. If it wasn't for Lin Xian's help, he could at most beat these earth immortals away. However, it was impossible to completely petrify these earth immortals. When these earth immortals recovered, they would probably make a comeback. But this time, these earth immortals probably wouldn't make a move for a long time. It would be very difficult to break through the petrification. Young man, you really did it. The immortal hand's voice sounded. Lin Xian's smile disappeared. Instead, he frowned. He remembered something. When he entered the immortal city, there was a condition. If they failed, the earth immortals of the divine realm would be petrified. At that time, he didn't quite understand. But now, when he saw these few statues, he felt a chill in his heart. The so-called petrification of the earth immortals was probably the scene in front of him. Lin Xian stood next to the earth immortals. He could only feel that these people were still alive. The power in their bodies had disappeared. They couldn't even move. If they were really petrified, then it would be too tragic. Their top fighting strength would disappear instantly. At that time, the otherworld heavenly king would probably attack crazily and destroy the divine realm in one fell swoop. But fortunately, it seemed that the divine realm had the upper hand for now. He was really looking forward to seeing the earth immortals of the otherworld heavenly king petrified. Chapter 6297. Lin Xian was shocked that the immortal realm had such a terrifying power that it could petrify the earth immortals. At the same time, he was even more curious. What exactly was the immortal realm? Was it a person or a realm? He didn't know anything. Because no one could answer him, these earth immortals seemed to be afraid of something and didn't dare to say anything. However, Lin Xian knew that petrification wasn't absolute. Once the petrification was broken, it could be restored again. For example, the war god seemed to have been petrified before, but later he broke the petrification. When Lin Xian saw the war god for the first time, the other party was like a stone monkey. However, in the following battle, the war god was able to make a move. Although there were still stone-like patterns on his body, he had already broken through the petrification. However, the time spent in this process should be very long. Lin Xian asked, "What exactly is this petrification?" The immortal hand said, "It's a very strange state. It's just that we let them feel it in advance." "What does it mean to feel it in advance?" Lin Xian was taken aback. Could it be that the Earth Immortals would eventually return to the petrified state? The doubts in his heart grew even greater. The immortal hand said, "Young man, you'll know when you become an Earth Immortal. Telling you now will only increase your worries. Well, here's what you want." With a wave of the immortal hand, the key flew to Lin Xian. "This is the clue to the immortal token. You really surprised me. Maybe this time, you really have a chance to get the immortal token. Good luck." With that, the immortal hand waved again, and a big crack appeared in the sky. Then, Lin Xian and the other great emperors who were still alive all flew into the big crack and disappeared. Under the earth of the World Creation Mountain, peace was restored again. The immortal eye and immortal hand also sank into the earth. It was as if all the battles had never happened. However, there were only a few more mysterious statues. "Damn it!" the Colossus roared. "I actually fell into the hands of a little ant and died with grievances." Purple Immortal also gritted her teeth. "Damn brat. Just you wait. My sister will avenge me." The eagle god was silent. Did he fail? The nine-headed lion was even more incredulous. All along, he had thought that he was in control of the entire situation. He had completely disregarded Lin Xian. But now, he had been utterly defeated. Moreover, he had been defeated by a young man. Unbearable. All kinds of crazy roars came from under the ground, shaking the nine heavens. However, that was all they could do. They couldn't take revenge. They couldn't do anything. He could only feel endless regret and despair. Boom, boom. Above the sky of the creation boundary mountain, a huge crack appeared, and then several figures fell down. After these people fell, they were still in a daze. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? They were all stunned. They were the subordinates of the Earth Immortal. Earlier, they had seen an unbelievable scene. The Earth Immortals attacked the array formation with irresistible force and victory was about to be achieved. But at this moment, the void tore apart as the unparalleled powerful beings of the nine heavens made their moves to snatch it. The scene became confusing. In the end, who would emerge victorious? He had no idea either. However, they guessed that it might be the nine-headed lion. After all, if the three brothers worked together, they could sweep through everything. Of course, those people of the nine heavens believed that their master would win, because the Earth Immortals of the nine heavens were even more terrifying. However, the situation once again exceeded their expectations. The little ant in their eyes, Lin Xian, suddenly erupted with immortal power. He even threatened that this was all a trap set by him. And this was indeed a trap. The mysterious altar, the immortal eye, directly turned these Earth Immortals into stone men. The monstrous divine power disappeared. The terrifying immortal chi disappeared. Only a few cold stones stood there. On the other hand, Lin Xian had become the ultimate winner. He had obtained the key and the clue to the immortal badge. All of this was too shocking that their brains couldn't react. How could Lin Xian be so powerful? Wasn't he just a little ant? Why was he so terrifying? They finally got a clue. Next, it was time to go to the nine heavens. Not far away from them, Lin Xian's voice came. These great emperors came back to their senses. When they looked at Lin Xian, they were both terrified and gnashing their teeth. They couldn't accept that the other party had defeated their master. Some people's eyes were even fiery red. Now that they didn't have the power of immortality, could they make a move on Lin Xian? After all, the other party had the clue of the immortal token in his hand. It was something that all the Earth Immortals wanted. Looking at your eyes, you're planning to do something to me. You're courting death. Lin Xian sneered. Kneel down and kowtow, and I'll spare you this time. These words made the great emperors on the opposite side completely angry. Their faces darkened. Even if you win this time, so what? That's not your own strength at all. That's right. You're just combining the power of immortality. Otherwise, with your own strength, the Earth Immortals can slap you to death with one hand. Everyone, let's join hands and kill this kid to avenge our Earth Immortals. A powerhouse stood out. He was the representative of the ninth heaven. A terrifying storm flickered on his body. Kill. With a roar, he struck out a storm that filled the sky. Seeing this, the others also attacked. Lin Xian's figure flashed, and the heavenly eagle dodged in an instant. Then, he rushed over. He didn't kill the others. Chapter 62-98. The Wind Emperor felt that he was right. The other party would definitely go to the ninth heaven. The other party had already offended several Earth Immortals. He couldn't offend another Earth Immortal, right? The ninth heaven didn't have the power of immortality to cooperate with the other party, so this kid definitely wouldn't dare to make a move. After Lin Xian heard this, he laughed out loud. So what if I'm an enemy of an Earth Immortal? Not to mention you. The 4 Earth Immortals inside are all my masterpieces. Do you think I'm afraid of you? With that, Lin Xian's sword chi slashed down again, piercing through the other party's body. The Wind Emperor was extremely miserable. His foundation was severely damaged, and his immortal chi was cracking. In this way, even if he didn't die, he would be crippled. Lin Xian formed a sword array, enveloped the other party, and threw him into the distance. Then, he turned his head and looked at the people around him. He said coldly, "Who dares to be my enemy?" The others were all scared silly, and their bodies began to tremble. This guy was really crazy. Run quickly. They wanted to escape danger. Lin Xian cut through heaven and earth with his sword. He said, "I told you, kowtow and apologize to me, and I'll let you leave. Otherwise, no one can leave today. You're courting death." The others were still angry. Everyone joined forces. With that, they attacked crazily with terrifying power. Lin Xian shouted angrily, "Immortal Senior, please seal the 8th heaven. Even if they escape to the ends of the earth, as long as they are still in this heaven, I will hunt them down." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Xian made his move. The Great Emperors were no match for him at all. Even the late-stage Great Emperors were no match for him. As soon as the immortal power was released, it turned into a shocking rainbow, and these people immediately screamed miserably. Although the super Great Emperor had escaped, Lin Xian still chased after him crazily. He was very fast. In the end, these people had no choice but to say, "Can't we apologize?" They were really on the verge of collapse. Kneel down and apologize. Although they were unwilling, what could they do? Earth Immortals would rather die than offend him, let alone great emperors like them. Therefore, they were prepared to kneel down and apologize. However, after kowtowing, Lin Xian said, "That was before. You guys dared to resist just now, so I'm adding more conditions. Cripple your own divine flame and immortal energy, and I'll forgive you all. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite." What? Destroy his own divine fire and immortal chi? In your dreams. A great emperor roared. Lin Xian slashed his opponent into 2 halves. At the same time, the power of the immortals erupted from his body. Who is not convinced? He asked in a low voice. "Step forward now, and I'll send him on his way myself." Everyone trembled. What kind of immortal chi was that? What kind of power was this? This kid's aura was too strange. It was completely different from theirs. It was also different from the land immortals. Some of the great emperors were scared out of their wits. With a boom, their immortal energy shattered. In an instant, his cultivation level dropped to that of a supreme. The others had no choice but to do so. In the end, those who were still alive all became supreme beings. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian snorted coldly, "I won't kill you. You guys can leave." These people were no longer a threat. They gritted their teeth and quickly fled. This time, they had indeed fallen. They had to leave this place quickly. There was another reason why Lin Xian didn't kill these people. That was, they were all witnesses. These people had personally witnessed the petrification of the land immortals. Moreover, these were all subordinates of the land immortals. Their status was also extraordinary. It would only be true if these people spread the news. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian took out an array and said to the array, "Senior Heavenly Master, I did it. I got a clue to the immortal token. The seventh heaven, the ruins of the array sect." The Heavenly Master opened his eyes. When he heard the voice coming from the array, his body swayed slightly. Did he really do it? This young man was too extraordinary. At this moment, Lin Xian's voice came from the array. "Senior, I still need you to do something for me. Spread this news throughout Immortal City. Except for the ninth heaven, spread it to the other heavens. Let them know that the Guardians and Land Immortals have all been petrified and no longer pose a threat. Are you worried about the people of the ninth heaven?" The Heavenly Master said, "Don't worry, I'll start now." That's right, Lin Xian was indeed worried. When the people of the ninth heaven knew that the seventh heaven was guarded by the Heavenly Master, they dared to secretly frame him. Now that the Land Immortals of the other heavens had disappeared, the people of the ninth heaven would hurry to support their own people. This way, the Land Immortals of the ninth heaven would control too much power in Immortal City. Lin Xian wouldn't allow this to happen because it was a huge threat to him. Therefore, he spread the news in advance and let the emperors of each heaven start fighting each other. This way, the people of the ninth heaven wouldn't be easy to control. When the news spread, the entire Immortal City was shocked. The people of the sixth heaven were all stunned. What? Purple Immortal disappeared? Turned into a statue? The people of the fifth heaven, fourth heaven, and third heaven were all dumbfounded. At first, they didn't believe it. What kind of joke is this? That was a land immortal who could sweep across a world and suppress a heaven. Who could be his match? But soon, they realized that something was wrong. The super great emperors who had left with the land immortals had returned. They were very weak and had even suffered heavy injuries. These people rushed over and asked what had happened. Those injured super great emperors gritted their teeth and told them what had happened. At the same time, they said, it was Lin Xian who did it. They wanted to gather their strength and attack Lin Xian. However, they didn't know that Lin Xian had spread the news earlier. Therefore, when the people of these heavens heard that the land immortals were really suppressed, they were all stunned. Everyone stood there, motionless, their minds blank. After a few days, when these people came back to their senses, they gasped. Revenge on Lin Xian? What a joke. Was the land immortals strong? For land immortals working together were suppressed by Lin Xian. Who would dare to make a move? It was too scary, too dreamy. The land immortals had always been the absolute strength that no one could surpass. But now, the situation had changed. After the initial shock and fear, they gradually became greedy. Since the land immortals were no longer around, could they replace them? The land immortals' mansion was still there. Could they become the new land immortals? In an instant, some super great emperors rushed over, wanting to snatch the land immortals' treasures. There were more than one person who had this thought. Therefore, a great battle broke out in an instant. Get lost. I am Master's most capable subordinate. Nonsense. I am the disciple of the land immortals. What right do you have to tell me to get lost? Then let's fight. Only the strongest are worthy of the land immortals' treasures. Chapter 6299. Immortal City. The people of the divine realm were scattered in different heavens. At this moment, when they heard the news, they were all stunned. What? Lin Xian suppressed 4 land immortals? Impossible, right? Had Lin Gongzi become so powerful? Heavens, could it be that he had also broken through to become a land immortal? These people were all stunned. Their first feeling was that it was unreal. His second reaction was to wonder if someone was going to attack them. Would the forces of the land immortals attack the people of the divine realm? This made them feel as if they were facing a great enemy, and they all hid. However, after waiting for a while, they realized that there was nothing. Instead, everyone was fighting for the land immortals' treasures. Let's go too. These people joined in one after another. On the other side, the people of the other side were also stunned. Nine-tailed fox and the others couldn't believe their ears. What? Lin Xian suppressed the land immortals? What a joke. Even if that kid was 10 times stronger, he wouldn't be able to do it. They didn't believe that this was done by Lin Xian. However, the disappearance of the land immortals might be true. That was because an earth-shattering battle had already taken place where they were. Therefore, the people of the other side also joined in the fight. These battles were extremely terrifying. Everyone wanted to obtain the treasures. However, there was one person who had the most advantage, and that was the Golden Lion King. The Golden Lion King had followed the nine-headed lion before. However, this time, he didn't go to the 8th heaven. Instead, he stayed in the nine-headed lion's residence. Therefore, when the nine-headed lion disappeared, the Golden Lion King received the news. He knew that this matter was related to Lin Xian. He was stunned at first, then he immediately took action and began to collect the nine-headed lion's resources. Did the nine-headed lion treat him well? He couldn't say. The other party didn't threaten him. However, he didn't nurture him. The other party put the Golden Lion King here just to study the Golden Lion King's bloodline. The Golden Lion King was also a beast of heaven and earth. Moreover, it was a mutated lion race. Therefore, this bloodline didn't exist in the immortal city. After seeing it this time, the nine-headed lion was immediately interested. He brought the Golden Lion King to his side. Initially, he had thought that after finding clues about the immortal token, he would study the golden bloodline properly. But to his surprise, he was petrified this time around. Although the Golden Lion King didn't know the nine-headed lion's goal, he didn't feel any warmth. Moreover, he was from the God realm. Therefore, everything he did was for the God realm. The Golden Lion King immediately took action. It even began to suppress the surrounding demonic beasts for its own use. The battles in the other heavens were extremely intense, but the 9th heaven was incomparably quiet. There was no news about Lin Xian here. In fact, they didn't even know what was happening in the other heavens. After all, every layer of heaven had the power of heaven and earth as a fortress that isolated everything. Only by paying a huge price would one be able to cross it. At this moment, the 9th heaven fell into a strange silence. All the cultivators felt a sense of fear, as if a storm was about to arrive. However, no one knew what had happened. Purple Mountain. This was where Ziyin was, a sacred place. No one dared to behave atrociously here. The atmosphere in the Purple Mountain was even more solemn. Inside the mountain, there was a terrifying power that permeated the air every day. Ziyin's endless immortal chi condensed and poured into her right hand. Her right hand had become 10 points terrifying. One must know that she was as beautiful as a fairy from the 9 heavens. However, at this moment, her right hand had turned into a stone arm. It was ferocious and ugly. More importantly, her right hand couldn't feel anything. Even if she wanted to cut off her arm, she couldn't grab it. To put it more accurately, her right hand seemed to have been crippled. However, the flesh and blood of her right hand were crippled. Even the part of her right hand that was part of her soul was petrified. There was no reaction at all. How could this be? Damn it! Recover! Ziyin screamed. She tried another method, but it was still useless. In the next moment, she waved her hand and a few heavenly treasures flew over from afar. Among them, there was a Qilin divine medicine. That medicinal herb had the appearance of a Qilin. Its entire body was emitting a purple light. It was incomparably mysterious. If this medicine was taken outside, it would be enough to make any great emperor go crazy. In fact, even the other Earth immortals would be envious. The Qilin divine medicine split open and fused into the petrified right arm. Immediately, the medicinal power bloomed, and the entire arm shook violently. Ziyin held her breath. She was incomparably nervous. She didn't know if she could recover. The purple light on her right arm became more and more terrifying. The phantom of a purple Qilin roared towards the sky, shaking the 9 heavens. However, in the next moment, these phantoms disappeared without a trace. Her entire right hand was completely unresponsive. Damn it! How could this be? I don't believe it. With a wave of her hand, she took out another crystal. This crystal was as big as a millstone. It was crystal clear. This was a spiritual liquid of heaven and earth. It was a spiritual liquid that had been condensed for millions of years. It was enough to bring a great emperor back to life. Even if an Earth immortal was severely injured, after eating a piece, he would be able to instantly recover his chi and blood. This was a rare treasure. She cut the millstone-sized spiritual liquid of heaven and earth into half, and then turned half of it into liquid and poured it into her right hand. However, it was still useless. Ziyin went completely crazy. She roared towards the sky. Damn it! Damn it! Why? The entire purple mountain shook violently. Outside the purple mountain, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Endless mountains shattered and the earth cracked. In the area under her control, many cultivators lost their lives because of this. However, Ziyin didn't care about this at all. She only wanted to recover her arm. Not to mention her, the other two Earth Immortals also didn't feel good. Back then, there were 3 Earth Immortals in the 9th heaven. Other than Ziyin, there were 2 others. One of them was the god of wind. In the 9th heaven, there was a place that was completely a place of storms. The wind here was extremely terrifying. Great emperors from other places didn't dare to rashly come here, because their bodies would be torn apart. And in the depths of this storm stood a figure. Around this figure, the wind roared and turned into a wind beast that circled around him. This was a man, a middle-aged man. However, his condition was also not good. His right hand was also petrified. There were several treasures in front of him. However, none of them could alleviate his injuries. He couldn't feel his right hand at all. There was another person, the lightning immortal. This was an old man surrounded by lightning. The powerful destructive power was enough to pierce through heaven and earth. His right hand was also unable to recover. In fact, he even used the power of lightning to destroy his body. His entire body was torn apart, turned into a bloody mist, and healed. However, his hand was still petrified. This strange power seemed to accompany him, undying and indestructible. Chapter 6300. The 3 Earth Immortals were furious. They wanted to catch Lin Xian and make Lin Xian suffer a fate worse than death. Who would have thought that they would fall into the hands of a little ant? However, Lin Xian had not arrived at the 9th heaven yet. Moreover, they did not publicize this matter with great fanfare. After all, this matter was really too embarrassing. If word got out, it would be a slap to their faces. There was another reason. In the 9th heaven, other than the 3 of them, there were other Earth Immortals. If others knew that the 3 of them were injured, perhaps someone would sneak attack them. Therefore, the 3 of them were in seclusion in their respective places and did not go out. Even their subordinates did not know that the 3 of them were injured. However, they still ordered their subordinates to quickly find Lin Xian. Once Lin Xian appeared, they would immediately kill him. For a time, the undercurrent of the 9th heaven surged. After Lin Xian obtained the immortal key, he began to head to the 9th heaven. There were already people lurking at the entrance of the 9th heaven. These were the subordinates of the 3 Earth Immortals. One of them was barehanded. One of them was holding a thunder sword. The other person carried a black box on his back. That box was 2 meters long and half a meter wide. It was extremely mysterious. No one knew what was inside. There were many figures in the surroundings. Even the array formation had appeared, covering the sky and earth, waiting for the enemy to arrive. However, after waiting for a few days, someone became impatient. He frowned and said, "Will that person come? I don't think he has the guts to come to the 9th heaven. Maybe we are wasting time here." "Shut up. If the Lord said he will come, then he will definitely come. Wait patiently," the leading great emperor said in a deep voice. The others did not speak anymore. They waited silently. Buzz. Finally, a figure appeared on the horizon of the 9th heaven. "Is he here?" The eyes of the 3 leaders burst out with extremely cold light. "I will come and meet him." A man in a green robe walked out. He was the subordinate of the god of Gale. These days of waiting had made him very impatient. He wanted to see who the person that the Lord made him wait for was. The wind and clouds surged under his feet. The green-robed man transformed into a storm and flew forward. When he got close, a flying knife appeared in his hand. The knife flashed and carried a tornado with it. Murderous intent surged as he flew forward. As the saber flew out, the sky fell and the earth cracked. It was the Emperor of Flying Daggers, Dao Wushang. Many people cried out in surprise. Obviously, the person who did this was very famous. The saber did not injure anyone. It was a saber strike that killed someone, yet it did not leave any scars. However, this blade could pierce through the body and soul, sending the enemy to hell. The figure that appeared from the horizon was none other than Lin Xian. He came from the 8th layer of heaven and arrived at the 9th layer of heaven. He sighed in his heart. This place is even more mysterious than the 8th layer of heaven. Lin Xian could sense the aura of a land god from afar. It was like a god that made people look up to him. This was the last layer of heaven. Lin Xian knew that there were not only 9 longevity fruits here, but also the immortal token. This time, he had come for both the longevity fruit and the immortal order. Of course, the most important thing was still the immortal token, because after getting that, he could save all of them. Just as he took a few steps, the wind and clouds surged in front of him. A green flying knife cut through the void and charged directly at him. Above the flying dagger, there were green flames and boundless killing intent. Buzz. Facing this knife, he did not dodge. Instead, he stretched out 2 golden fingers and gently pinched. Clang. Boom. The sound of metal colliding was heard. Then, the sky fell and the earth cracked. A storm raged and the front turned into nothingness. The people watching the battle in the distance all laughed. Is he dead? Dao Wushang snorted coldly. How powerful am I? He can't even take one of my attacks. You made me waste so much time waiting. He was full of disdain. Turning around, Dao Wushang wanted to leave. The others also prepared to go up. They could go back and report. Whoosh! Behind them, the sound of something breaking through the sky suddenly came from the void. Then, the flying dagger flew back like a bolt of lightning. With a puff, it pierced through Dao Wushang's body. Dao Wushang lowered his head and found that his heart had been pierced through. Not only that, there was a crack on his body that was quietly growing bigger. Then, there was a crack. Emperor blood flew out, and pain spread throughout his body. Dao Wushang let out a miserable cry. What happened? The people in front who were preparing to leave stopped and turned around. Seeing Dao Wushang's situation, their faces changed drastically. Who is it? Is the person from before not dead? They raised their eyes again and looked at the sky. The sky was still shattered. However, at this moment, a figure gradually walked out of the crack. This person was slender, his black hair fluttering in the wind. His eyes were piercingly cold, like a young sword god, and he had a terrifying aura. Is he really fine? These people did not believe it. The 3 super great emperors leading the group looked solemn. This person was not simple. They prepared to attack. This time, their master only gave them a portrait of their target and their cultivation. They knew that the other party was a young great emperor, but why did they want to capture him? They did not know. However, they would obey their master's orders unconditionally. Who are you? Why do you want to attack me? Lin Xian's voice came from the front. Under the orders of our master, we are here to capture and suppress you. The bare-handed man said coldly. Since that's the case, you can go to hell. Lin Xian understood that these should be the subordinates sent by the 3 injured Earth Immortals. Attack. The other party gave the order, and immediately, 6 figures rushed over. 6 against 1. Even if the other party was a young genius, he would not be able to resist. Boom. Lin Xian slashed down with his sword. The immortal slaying sword turned into a peerless light, and the power of the immortals erupted. The entire sky shattered, heaven and earth darkened, and the sun and moon lost their light. This sword shocked the people on the other side. They realized that they had underestimated their enemy again. They had always been 9th-level genius powerhouses. Except for the Earth Immortals, they did not put anyone else in their eyes. Not to mention, a person from the lower realm had crossed the heavens and earth to come here. Such a person was an ant in their eyes. 6 against 1 was already giving the other party a lot of face. The other party could die with pride. However, when all of this happened, they knew that they were wrong. Moreover, they had no chance to make up for this mistake. The 6 figures in front roared and resisted with all their strength. However, under this sword, their bodies were shattered and blood stained the sky. Some people's pupils were dilated and their souls were extinguished. At the moment of death, they heard a voice. "Remember, I am Lin Wudi." What an arrogant name. What a terrifying sword technique. The bodies of the 6 people fell from the sky. "Come at me together." Lin Xian pointed his sword forward. On the immortal slaying sword, the emperor's blood dripped, and the biting cold sword intent on it rotated as if it could tear the sky apart. "Come at me together." The 3 powerhouses in the lead said coldly. If it were any other situation, they would feel ashamed. What did they think they were when they ganged up on them? They were peerless powerhouses, but at this moment, they couldn't care less about their face. The person in front of them was too strange, and they had to end the battle quickly. Kill. 17 experts rushed over. This was a peerless powerhouse. Their combat strength was monstrous. Chapter 6301. Lin Xian took a deep breath. His golden right hand erupted and slapped forward like the hand of a god. The void instantly shattered. The 17 people were shocked. This power seemed to have surpassed the great emperor. Pfft. The 2 of them were hit by the golden hand. Their bodies shattered and their bones cracked. However, at this moment, the 3 of them attacked Lin Xian from behind. The terrifying power fiercely blasted onto Lin Xian's body. Boom! Sword chi flew out from Lin Xian's back, turning into 2 dragon shadows that roared towards the sky. They blocked the attack from behind. Damn it, he actually blocked it. The 3 of them couldn't believe it. They prepared to attack again. In the next moment, they saw an unbelievable scene. After the 2 sword chi dragons, tens of thousands of sword chi rushed out from Lin Xian's back, turning into 2 pairs of sword chi wings. If one looked carefully, they would find that these 2 pairs of wings were completely formed by dragon shadows. It was overwhelming, as if 10,000 dragons had awakened. How could there be so many? These 3 peerless powerhouses couldn't believe it. What kind of power was this? No one answered. The 3 of them were enveloped by the endless sword chi. Then, 3 white bones fell to the ground. 1 man and 1 sword, sweeping in all directions. The battle was extremely intense. However, Lin Xian's speed was faster than the great emperor's. No power could get close to him. Instead, Lin Xian's golden right hand and the terrifying killing sword in his left hand. They could continuously pierce through the opponent's body. When the last figure was split apart, the battle ended. Lin Xian was spotless, and sword chi surrounded his body. He was like a golden god and a peerless sword immortal, as if he shouldn't exist between heaven and earth. However, he really appeared in front of the enemy. Not bad. You guys are very strong. It's been a long time since I had a good battle. Lin Xian's blood was boiling. Indeed, the previous battles in the 7th and 8th heavens were mostly battles with earth immortals. Lin Xian couldn't have a good battle at all. Now, the battle with the 17 peerless powerhouses made his long-dormant blood erupt again. A man wielding a sharp sword swept through heaven and earth. "You, fight me." Lin Xian looked at the unarmed man. This person was tall and wasn't wearing any armor, nor was he holding any weapon. His opponent's body emitted a green glow. "My name is Qifeng, transcending Emperor Early Stage," the tall man said in a deep voice. Then, he threw out a punch. Tens of thousands of horses fell silent, and a storm roared. Raging firestorm fist. In the midst of the terrifying gale, there were scorching flames. It was all because of the will of the blade. Their enemies had long been turned into ashes. This group of people had always been successful. It was Qi Feng's famous ultimate technique. With this pair of fists, he could split mountains and rivers and laugh proudly in the world. Now, he was still able to defeat his opponent. Boom! The fiery storm instantly arrived in front of Lin Xian and enveloped Lin Xian. The surrounding void was ablaze. Lin Xian's figure seemed to be torn to pieces. It hit. The corners of Qi Feng's mouth rose slightly. However, he was not careless. Judging from his opponent's previous battle, this punch was not enough to kill him. However, this ultimate punch could give him the upper hand and take down his opponent in one go. Thinking of this, he stomped his feet and immediately flew forward like a gust of wind. He opened and closed his fists, releasing endless divine power. Two huge tornadoes bloomed on his fists. They were as bright as the sun. Kill. With a roar that shook the 9 heavens, he punched out with both fists. This time, he would definitely be able to seriously injure his opponent. The entire process happened in the blink of an eye. However, when his fists reached the limit, the void behind him split open and a figure appeared. Then, the same golden fist landed on his back. Boom. Qifeng felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He felt that his back was completely shattered, and his internal organs were about to rot. He couldn't help but vomit blood, and his body fell from the sky. However, he was still a peerless expert. The 2 divine flames on his body erupted and healed his injuries. At the same time, he turned his body and looked over. You. He couldn't help but exclaim. It turned out that Lin Xian had appeared where he was standing and injured him with one punch. What a fast speed. The previous punch didn't hurt him at all, let alone gain the upper hand. I was too careless. Lin Xian stood in the 9 heavens, holding the hilt of his sword with both hands, and stabbed downward. A ray of sword light danced silently. Heaven and earth were abnormally quiet, and only Qifeng's terrified roar could be heard. However, in the next moment, a dragon's roar was heard. The immortal slaying sword seemed to have turned into a peerless dragon that descended from the sky. The dragon head roared and swallowed Qifeng. Roar. Boom. Boom. 2 earth-shattering sounds were heard. Qifeng's body was torn apart, and endless sword qi pierced through his body. The storm on his body and his powerful body became extremely weak at this moment. Boom. With one strike, Qifeng's body fell to the ground. He didn't die, but he was seriously injured. A super great emperor's life force was much stronger than a great emperor's, but at this moment, he couldn't stand and could only tremble. I've experienced it. That's all there is to it. Lin Xian put away his sword and stared at the other 2 instead of his opponent. Who's going to teach me? The other 2 experts couldn't believe it. The other party's ability to fight above his level was a little too terrifying. Strong. Super strong. Lin Xian's strength was completely unexpected. Qifeng, an early-stage super great emperor, was much stronger than a great emperor. But now, he was seriously injured in 2 moves. Could it be that this kid had the strength of a mid-stage super great emperor? The other party could fight above his level, and by so many levels, it was hard for ordinary people to imagine. The man with the thunder sword frowned. The power he used was not divine power or immortal qi. What was it? It was like the fusion of the 2. The man with the black box frowned. Both of them existed at the same time? Impossible. No one in the world could do this. Let's do it together. Don't waste any more time. The 2 of us can't make any more mistakes. The man with the thunder sword nodded and walked out. This man had a square face, and his eyebrows were like sharp blades that pierced the sky. His eyes were like lightning, emitting a cold light. This person was called Lei Yun, a mid-stage super great emperor. The other person was wearing a black robe and carrying a black box. He was called He Ming. He was also a mid-stage super great emperor. The 2 super great emperors joined forces at this moment, forming a triangle, not giving Lin Xian any way out. You are very strong. Lei Yun said, if it was any other time, I would fight you one-on-one and fight to my heart's content. But not today. I am here on the orders of the Lord. I must suppress you. So, in today's battle, I will do whatever it takes. As soon as his voice fell, the thunder sword in his hand was already out of its sheath. It turned into a full moon in the air and fell down fiercely. The thunder in the sky shook the 9 heavens, killing all enemies in the world with one strike. This strike was extremely fast. In an instant, it was in front of Lin Xian. With a clang, it hit Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body was finally knocked back. At this moment, the black-robed man on the other side, He Ming, moved. He tore the sky and came behind Lin Xian. The black box on his back quickly opened, and a cold light flew out. At the same time, there was that strange fog flying up. Chapter 6302. Everything was over. The black-robed man said coldly, "The poison in this black box is very terrifying. Even a super great emperor can't resist it." At this critical moment, Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the power of the great dragon's sword soul erupted. Boundless sword chi swept out, and a sea of swords flew out. The terrifying sword chi turned into an ocean, causing the entire world to shake. It was as if it could easily split the universe. The two collided, but there was no earth-shattering sound. There was only a low sound, as if ice and snow were melting. However, it was extremely terrifying. The poison that the black-robed man was so proud of was quickly disappearing. How was this possible? When the black-robed man saw this scene, his expression changed. What kind of sword chi was this? Buzz. Just as he was stunned, another sword came, and the sword chi slashed down. The black-robed man hurriedly raised the black box to block it. With a dang sound, a thunderous sound rang out. He was blasted backwards. His hands began to tremble violently, and cracks began to appear on the surface of his black box. The black-robed man gasped. The other party's sword was too terrifying. It was as if a sword god had come back to life. It was terrifying, and he couldn't help but want to kneel down. "The two of you are just so-so." Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Boy, you are too arrogant." At this moment, the thunder blade slashed over. The blade was incomparably cold, as if it could split the heavens and earth. Lin Xian waved his golden right hand and blocked the blade. This surprised Lei Yun. His thunder blade was also terrifying, but the other party blocked it with just his physique. What kind of physique was this? Heaven-defying sword technique and physique. Was this really just a great emperor? Even a super great emperor couldn't do it. It seemed that he was going to use his real unique skill. The black-robed man waved the black box in his hand, and it turned into 18 different weapons surrounding him. With a roar, he attacked with all his strength. The black flames shook the stars in the sky. Rumbling sounds fell from the sky, forming a strange phenomenon. At this moment, the sun and moon were dim, and the world was dark. Under the 18 weapons, everything was about to be shattered. Lei Yun also swallowed the thunderblade. The next moment, his whole body erupted with an extremely terrifying light. He turned into a new thunderblade. The pinnacle of lightning destroyed the universe. The strength of the two of them was rising rapidly. Lin Xian also frowned. These two people's trump cards were indeed strong enough to surpass the others. From the looks of it, it was time for him to unleash his true ultimate skill. Great Solar Indestructible Palm. The golden right hand, together with the emperor-level unique skill, struck out fiercely. A palm turned into a star, shining in all directions and raining down thunderbolts that filled the sky. At the same time, he waved the immortal slaying sword like a sword dragon. The dragon's shadow rolled and roared ferociously as it attacked the black-robed man. Lin Xian fought two super martial monarchs on his own. The thunderclouds turned into a thunder blade, and he raised his combat power to the extreme. After the attack landed, the power caused people to feel despair. Even the great solar indestructible palm was shaken. On the other side, 18 types of weapons wrapped around the immortal execution sword, emitting a sky-shaking sound. Endless flames danced in the air, transforming into countless black holes. "Kid, we won't let you leave today." The two of them roared furiously. The battle here was extremely terrifying. Countless people in the ninth heaven were shocked. Who was fighting? Ordinary martial monarchs didn't dare to get close. They could only guess. And there was another place to watch the battle, which was the second heaven. In the second heaven, there was an ancient cave residence, and there was an equally mysterious woman inside. Her gaze pierced through the universe and looked at the ninth heaven. When she saw Lin Xian, she sighed softly. He was alive, and he even got a clue about the immortal token. This brat was really surprising. Well, I promised the little girl before, so I should tell her the news. The mysterious woman retracted her gaze and looked inside the cave residence. There was the figure of a phoenix, emitting seven-colored light, and it was very mysterious. This seven-colored phoenix figure was Morong Chingching. Because she cultivated the immemorial phoenix's ultimate skill, she had transformed into the state of a phoenix. In the next moment, the mysterious woman's voice sounded. "Little girl, wake up. Stop cultivating. Your brother Lin Xian has reached the ninth heaven." Morong Chingching opened her eyes. At first, she was at a loss, but then she was extremely happy. Did Brother Xian succeed? That's great. Senior, you promised me. I want to go to Brother Xian's side. Of course, I mean what I say. Little girl, take this. In the void, a pair of jade-like hands appeared. There were 3 ancient seals on them, each of which was the size of a walnut. On each ancient seal, there was a phoenix pattern, just like a phoenix seal, vivid and lifelike. After Morong Chingching took it, she asked, "Senior, what is this?" When you're bored, you can play with it. When you meet an invincible enemy, you can throw this thing out and kill the enemy. You can only use it once, understand? There are many Earth immortals in the ninth heaven, so you can't use it casually. Although the mysterious woman said it casually, Morong Chingcheng could tell that it was an incredible treasure. Thank you, Master. Morong Chingcheng didn't call her senior anymore. Instead, she called her Master. The mysterious woman's lips curled into a smile as she thought, "You're such a lovely girl. Go. I'll send you to the ninth heaven." There were several heavens between the second heaven and the ninth heaven. Even an Earth immortal might not be able to break through it. However, this mysterious woman could. Her fingers gently slid, and her nails directly split the void in half. A terrifying space channel condensed and formed. Go, little girl. Walk into the space channel, and you will be able to reach the ninth heaven. Morong Chingcheng was overjoyed. But soon, she stopped and said, "Master, look at your disciple. Can you help me recover?" She was still in the form of a seven-colored phoenix. This is because of the ancient phoenix technique. You've only cultivated half of it, so you're still in the form of a seven-colored phoenix. Besides, you're originally from the Phoenix clan. What's wrong with this? Do you think that kid will despise you? Morong Chingching blushed and said, "No, I'm afraid that others will want to attack me after seeing me. Let's see who dares." The mysterious woman snorted. But then she said, "How about this? I'll give you another thing." She waved her hand, and a bracelet flew to Morong Chingching. After wearing it, you can hide your body so that others won't be able to find out that you're Gufeng. Morong Chingching's bloodline was indeed able to shock the powerhouses. However, with this bracelet, all problems will be solved. "Master, I'll go." Morong Chingching walked into the space channel. In the ninth heaven, the battle between Lin Xian and the 2 super great emperors was still ongoing. Both sides were fighting earth-shattering. The 2 super great emperors were attacking with all their might and gradually suppressed Lin Xian. The 2 were overjoyed. It wouldn't be long before they could completely suppress each other. Lin Xian's face was gloomy. He snorted and was about to use some more terrifying techniques. But at this time, the void not far away cracked. A voice came from the crack. "Who dares to hurt Brother Lin Xian?" Chapter 6303. This voice resounded in the sky. The 3 people fighting in front were all stunned. Lin Xian was overjoyed. This was Chingcheng's voice. Great, Chingcheng had appeared. All this time, he hadn't heard any news about Morong Chingcheng, which made him extremely worried. He didn't expect that Chingcheng would appear in the ninth heaven. The other 2 super great emperors were also stunned. Who was this person? Was this kid's helper? Thinking of this, they roared angrily, ready to kill Lin Xian in an instant. "You're courting death." Morong Chingcheng was completely furious. She flew out of the space channel. The 7-colored light swept through the 9 heavens, and the phantom of a phoenix soared between heaven and earth. At the same time, an ancient seal condensed and formed beside her. That ancient seal was only the size of a walnut. However, the aura it emitted was extremely terrifying, causing the entire sky to shake violently. The two super great emperors below felt their hair stand on end. Their figures flickered, and they stopped attacking Lin Xian. Instead, they quickly fled, because the power that appeared was enough to turn them into ashes. After retreating into the distance, the two super great emperors' faces were extremely ugly. They raised their heads and looked up. Who exactly was it? How could it be so powerful? First, they saw a seven-colored phoenix soaring between heaven and earth. What shocked them was that a phoenix, a divine beast of heaven and earth. In the next moment, they saw an ancient seal beside the seven-colored phoenix. The terrifying destructive aura was emitted from that ancient seal. What a terrifying aura! It seemed to have the power of an earth immortal. It wasn't something they could resist. The two super great emperors' faces were extremely ugly. Lin Xian was also surprised. The power emitted by that ancient seal was extremely terrifying. It could indeed threaten the super great emperors. This was a transcendent power. He also had such a trump card, such as the three true fire. However, Lin Xian prepared to use it to deal with an earth immortal, so he wouldn't use it before. Moreover, what surprised him was that Qingqing actually had such a treasure. Obviously, she had also had a fortuitous encounter. That's great. Qingqing, each of us can deal with one of them, right? Lin Xian asked. Murong Qingqing said, Brother Lin Xian, you don't have to go through so much trouble. Throw them into the spatial tunnel. Someone will deal with them. The super strength emperor was terrifying. Murong Qingqing knew. Even though she had cultivated the immemorial phoenix seal, it was still difficult for her to kill a super great emperor. Even if Lin Xian killed a super great emperor, he would need a long time to use the great dragon sword spirit. From the looks of it, it was impossible to instantly kill a super great emperor. However, it would be a different story if that mysterious woman were to make a move. Therefore, Murong Qingqing had a new suggestion. Lin Xian was taken aback. Space channel? From the looks of it, there was a mysterious power inside. Forget it, there was no need to think too much about it. The two of them rushed over. You're courting death. The two super great emperors roared. They knew that it was impossible to kill Lin Xian today, so they wanted to retreat. However, Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing didn't give them a chance at all. Lin Xian became one with his sword and turned into a giant dragon that swept across the sky. The dragon attacked fiercely. The sky full of sword chi surrounded the dragon as if it was going to destroy the 9 heavens and 10 earth. On the other side, a 7-colored phoenix swept across the 9 heavens. The dragon and phoenix formed a super powerful vision that swept across the two super great emperors. The two super great emperors were so shaken that their blood was boiling and their bodies were about to crack. No, although your bloodline is powerful and you have many trump cards, we're not weak either. You can't kill us at all. We're mid-stage super great emperors. The two of them were very confident that as long as they avoided the dragon and phoenix attacks, they would find a chance to escape. However, the two super great emperors didn't expect that Lin Xian and Murong Qingqing didn't plan to kill each other. Instead, they planned to throw each other into the spatial tunnel. At this moment, the spatial tunnel was about to disappear. They only had one chance. Attack! Lin Xian shouted. The giant dragon flew over and came to Murong Qingqing's side. It was a true dragon and phoenix attack. A terrifying aura surged into the sky. The Thundercloud Emperor couldn't block it at all and was sent flying. In the next moment, he fell into the spatial tunnel. The black-robed man quickly dodged. Where do you think you're going? Lin Xian shouted angrily, his dragon sword spirit soaring into the sky. The sword broke the mountains and shattered the sky in the distance. The black-robed man's blood was boiling. You're courting death. He wanted nothing more than to kill Lin Xian now, but he couldn't do it. At this moment, Murong Qingqing activated his ancient aura and an even more terrifying destructive power swept out. Another dragon and phoenix attack sent the black-robed man into the spatial tunnel. The black-robed man spat out a mouthful of blood and released a crazy killing intent. Just you wait. You can't kill me. When I break the spatial tunnel and come out again, it will be the time of your death. Buzz. The spatial tunnel closed, and the killing intent that filled the sky also slowly disappeared. Success. Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief and was very happy. Lin Xian asked, "What's on the other side of the tunnel?" "Don't worry, the two of them won't be coming back." Lei Yun and the black-robed man fell into the spatial tunnel and were also teleported. When they reappeared, they were already in a cave. Where was this? The two of them were stunned. They should still be in the immortal city and didn't know that they were in the ninth heaven. "It's okay. Let's go back and inform our master and let him do it himself." The divine fire and immortal chi on their bodies jumped, and they were about to attack. However, at this moment, a faint voice came from the void. "Since you're here, don't leave again." "Who's there?" "Sneak out. Get out here." Lei Yun roared angrily. However, he was greeted with a slap. A white jade palm suddenly appeared and slapped Lei Yun's body. Lei Yun's powerful lightning body was instantly filled with cracks. Then, it suddenly shattered. Lei Yun was terrified. "Senior, please spare me." He realized that this was a power that surpassed a super great emperor. It wasn't something he could resist. However, it was too late. After this palm fell, his soul was also extinguished and his entire body turned into ashes. A super great emperor was killed instantly. "Little ant, who gave you the courage to be disrespectful to me? Didn't your master teach you to be respectful?" In the cave, the mysterious woman's voice sounded and the sky was surrounded by a sea of great emperor blood. The black-robed man next to him was so scared that he knelt on the ground with a plop. He was covered in cold sweat. This was an Earth immortal level powerhouse. He was so scared that he quickly kowtowed. "Senior, please spare me. Please spare me. You're very obedient. I won't kill you, but I'll suppress you first." With a light flick of her finger, the power of heaven and earth formed a heavenly steel and suppressed the black-robed man. The black-robed man didn't even have the strength to resist. He only had one thought. "Who the hell is this?" It was too scary. "The ninth heaven," Murong Qingqing said. "Don't worry, there's a very scary senior expert there. She's my master. Those two super great emperors will never come back." "Where have you been all this time?" Lin Xian was very curious. Murong Qingqing told him her experience. She said, "I'm actually very lucky. I found a senior of the Phoenix clan and cultivated there." Lin Xian was also envious after hearing this. She was too lucky. Unlike her, he had risked his life and offended several Earth immortals along the way. It could be said that he had narrowly escaped death to reach the ninth heaven. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.